And we just restarted, guys. Nothing missed here. And I love the closed dome. Really gets you into the feeling like, oh god, those are a lot of villagers.
Those are indeed a lot of villagers, and of course, with the Chinese now having the extra line of sight on their town center, the old Teuton bonus from AOC, it's nice. You can find your sheep instantly, like, almost every single time. It just gives Chinese that much more of a consistent start, and that's really what the Civ needs to really feel strong.
Yeah, absolutely. We are not using any maps that we use, for example, for ECL, or not ECL, but NAC2, I think even Hidden Cup, and, well, simply having one sheep under the TC and making Chinese so strong. But still, as you said, you're finding them quite early, and Chinese start seems to be pretty solid at the moment. And, well, they have to have a better win rate. I know that Robo was creating a file with everything, and at the moment Mayans are struggling like with 20% or something. I would be interested. What is your guess for Chinese?
Like win rate? I mean, it has to be like, yeah, I think 20% sounds right. Maybe even a little lower, because they've been picked a lot and they've been losing a lot.
Yeah. And Chinese also clapped Mayans twice on Registered Fortress.
Yeah, and that was when I thought that was slightly Mayans favored, like generally speaking. But yeah, Chinese have been really taking it to the late game.
Yeah, and then you have the light cav if you want to go for it. But, well, let's take a look what LaaaN has to offer here. He has one major gold spot in the front, but two nice ones in the back.
Oh, that's so nice. Especially as Chinese, you can just sit back, relax, get your boom on, and get to plumes. Or Chukonu, the other archer unique unit.
And on the other side we have Villese with another defensive gold spot as well. Stone looks a bit more open though, but I think if we build something over here, that stone should be nicely protected for sure. Big cliffs helping him out with potential walls here, or I can see quite easy walls. Let's see how Villese will approach this.
Yeah, both players have fairly defensive maps by the looks of things, which isn't, I guess, too common for Arabia, but I think with these players and their playstyles, I think both being a little bit more on the defensive side, at least early on, I think it wouldn't be too surprising to see like some sort of lukewarm aggression in Dark Age with a Drush or Feudal Age or whatever, and then just really trying to make moves in Castle Age.
Yeah, makes sense. And as I said, like, LaaaN with a really defensive style. What do you think about the mindset of the two players? Obviously, both had a bye, both have one loss, so it's not a great situation for them. If they lose this game, they're kind of out of the tournament already.
Oh, is that like confirmed?
No, it's not confirmed. You can still beat two strong opponents and go with like 3-2 still with having a bye. But, well, if you lose against your 8 kind of contenders, seed 8, seed 9, coming back and beating two players that are even higher seeded, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah, certainly, and it's definitely worth noting that these are the two players from the qualifiers, so LaaaN did end up winning it, Villese ended up getting second place, and so we do have at least some recent history between these two players of LaaaN beating Villese, and I'm pretty sure he looked quite strong in that series, if I recall correctly. This overlay guy is trying to fix my computer.
We have, indeed, yeah, landed, I believe, win 5-2 even.
It was a pretty dominant performance, for sure.
And also a really nice performance against Fire in the semifinals. Villese did beat DauT. That's why we are lacking those two Brazilian players here, sadly. And, well, Villese and LaaaN, they're still here and trying to show why they're at NAC3.
Indeed, and I have to say that people are, giving a lot of respect to LaaaN. Even if he didn't do so well versus Liereyy, it was the first series of the tournament, it's its first LaaaN, maybe some nerves factored in there. But, I mean, what seed is he in? Like seed 6 or something?
8. LaaaN is 8.
Oh, LaaaN's 8? Okay, I thought he was a bit higher, but still, like, whatever. He's still one of the, top performers in the ladder so far. He's looking really, really strong, taking games from a lot of good players. And I would still even slightly favor him in this series.
Yeah, talking about the ladder. Actually, if you don't count Vivi, the NAC participants had seed 2 till 8.
Oh yeah.
Before the tournament, and okay, now apparently TaToH dropped a bit there, but TaToH not in the top 8 anymore. But yeah, that really shows you what a big caliber we have here, and it's so weird. Like, it is tricky to even design an Age of Empires tournament, like, or group up people where LaaaN and Villese aren't considered to be like beasts of the world.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're definitely two of the more up-and-coming players. They've both been around for a while, but I think in recent year, they've really, I think, stepped up their game quite a bit, and I'm definitely interested to see how they performed. Villese did not look terrible versus Hera, who is, of course, an incredibly strong player, as are all the participants in this tournament, but in some standard games, I mean, he did look pretty good.
Yeah, it was a close performance. They had pretty even games early on. And, well, let's take a look at this very game, because we will have Villese actually playing something that looks to me like, well, maybe even a DauT FC is completely walled pretty soon. Is sending 3 militia out, and LaaaaaN, well, he will give his main goal up, but we saw that's not a problem because he has 2 in the back. Maybe Villese can squeeze through here, through the TC, and that's not walled to the edge, and it's only 3 villagers in there. There's not a lot of damage coming in.
That could be a big problem here for Mr. LaaaaaN, and indeed it is. Oh man, it's going to be almost impossible. Quick hole behind it. Villagers are deciding whether to fight or flee, and it looks like fight. These villagers are sick and tired of being raided.
And it only just started, so they are not very tolerant to that. And now we can see, well, the stable being built, but stable won't do anything. Oh, actually, the scout is catching something. What happened here?
Looks like there is a kill already onto Villese by LaaaaaN. So the militia actually need to do something here to equalize these things. That isn't really going to be the greatest for our red player, but I still like the overall game plan. Both of these guys would be going with the more defensive approach. I would be very surprised if LaaaaaN did anything other than make a few scouts and click up to Castle Age, as you say he is wont to do. And I think that, you know, these militia are taking sufficient damage that just these reinforcing scouts should be able to clean them up with the villagers.
I think so as well. The problem is you don't get too much control. The scout now kind of confirmed the strategy needs to go away with 3 HP. 2 villagers closing the door behind, and oh, attack switch. We were wrong, OrnLu. Look at that. He's going for the eco upgrades.
So I guess it's just a drush into flush?
Indeed.
So, I mean, it's fine. You can totally do that, and if you subscribe to the thought that plumed archers are bad, then, you know, getting some archers in feudal age, getting up to crossbowmen, then that is going to be your best play as Mayans, because cheap archers, eventually maybe getting obsidian arrows to knock down buildings, it would be pretty good.
Indeed, it would, and I think the approach of Villese is so weird. He had the good map. Maybe he was scared that he didn't get the walls up there. Or is it just a mind game? Like, it looks like DauT FC, but he was up to feudal age too early. Like, LaaaaaN should know that that's going to be unlikely that you can get to castle age without any interruptions.
Yeah, I mean, some people just don't like going for the DauT FC play. Like, they would see it as too greedy. I remember, like, watching so many games of MBL where he could have DauT FC'd, but he just chose to stay in feudal age, at least for a little while. And maybe Villese is like that as well. And it's certainly, what he's doing is a much safer approach.
Shot it.
Yeah, so true, and he gets the farms up. It looks like LaaaaaN has the better farm eagle behind us though, and now gets the villager kill, doesn't even lose the eagle, so good job on him. And KD is now 2-1, so 1 villager lost on the other side, probably 2. Or am I confused? Oh yeah, well, 1 villager.
Yeah. 1 militia, so villager count currently dead even. Militia not likely going to be doing a whole lot more, but it was still really nice for Villese that he was able to get that villager snipe. That's not something that you would necessarily expect. And it's actually going to be second range even before blacksmith, so this is really, he wants to do something in feudal age.
Or just mess up the archers and don't click up. Well, he has 300 food, 300 gold. How many farmers does he have? Oh, it doesn't look too sexy.
I mean, he only has 11 food workers.
8 farmers here, and now we see wheelbarrow on the other side. And oh, now clearing up the militia here. Nothing too special, no more losses. 5-2 KD in the end, and walling some more with houses in front. Something we don't see too often, but something I really like against crossbows actually.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with crossbows is that you want to limit the range in which they can attack you, obviously. So giving yourself as much space as possible is something that I am a very big fan of, especially when, you know, you're walling pretty close to your town center, and you're going to have some villagers in range almost always. But, you know, the best you can do to at least mitigate that is going to be really good.
Yeah, lovely approach. He's now going for the gold in the back, and well, at some point he might need to build a TC here. Needs to get more map control. Is walling behind this. If you're walling all this, do you feel like some gates are needed at the front?
Yep, just go for the gate at the front. I think it will prevent any sort of Eagle Warrior or Plumed Archer run by. I mean, obviously, that's not what Villese is going for right now, but I still would rather be safe than sorry. It is not a massive investment.
Yeah, and let's take a look what both players are up to. We have Villese on the left-hand side, and we have LaaaN on the right-hand side. So, Villese...
Age of Cubes.
Age of Cubes, indeed. He's defending with his archers a bit. DauT is running around trying to get some vision there. As you can see, now walling some more in the front, and isn't it pretty? All the green boxes and...
Oh, yeah.
Well, who was it? I think it was Dave yesterday saying like, oh yeah, it was... What series was it? Viper against TheMax? No, it was TheMax against... Yo. So Yo is getting wood, and TheMax is getting green cubes.
Oh, yes. That makes perfect sense. I think he's just mining... I think that's just dirt. You only get dirt when you get grass. So, oh wait, is there a dead villager here for LaaaN? Ooh. Some OrnLus got in on the fun.
Yeah, wanted to move out there, wanted to go for the aggressive siege workshop apparently. And, well, it was stopped there for now by Mr. OrnLu. He said, oh, he's sending 2 more here.
Wait.
Ooh, that's pretty interesting. LaaaN is usually the more defensive player, like we were saying, but he'll be faster to the castle age. He's going to be going for some knights. I think that makes sense. You don't really want to match Mayans in a big archer battle because they'll have the the numbers edge on you likely. But archers now coming in here for Villese. Don't think they'll be getting a whole lot done, but we'll have to see what this forward building is. I would assume a siege workshop.
It has to be a siege workshop. Look at that, running into 3 wolves though, and that's not too pretty. He right-clicked. Most of the time you see villagers building a palisade there so that the villagers are taking back, and, well, he will clear it up, but Villese should potentially know that this is happening. Let's go maybe into his point of view and try to figure out if he has any vision over that area. No, he didn't see it anyways. Okay.
Now LaaaN builds the palisade walls after all the wolves are dead. That's
and running into 2 more wolves.
Oh no!
Oh, don't tell me that could be so bad. 21 and 20 HP. Oh, I think if he micros correctly, he will survive this. They're going for different villages as well. What is happening here? This is so weird, but I think he will survive with bows. Oh god, but that was really hectic for him.
Is what happens when I cast your games, boys. The wolves are after you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Villese hitting Castle Age as well, going for 2 additional TCs, as well as the obvious crossbow in place, so it's going to be a very, very economic opening from our red player. LaaaN, meanwhile, he's trying to make something happen, but at least behind it, he's still going for that triple TC play as well.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look. 1 added, 2 added there with the gold for sure, and, well, now building the siege workshop at the top here, but is that really the greatest angle to attack from? Yeah, he has the hill, but he cannot really use it, right? He needs to break the houses, and he's losing so much time even getting there.
Yeah, I guess if he wants some area to retreat to, but yeah, the hill's a little far away for my taste, but you know, at least it's a hill. Meanwhile, you see Villese on the other side of the map. I don't think he's likely to get anything done here. I mean, he's trying to puncture through these walls, but that's going to take a good long while, and enough knights should come out. Notably, it is only the 1 stable knight production so far.
Yeah, so true. Over 20 villagers, or 20 population lead now, because LaaaN simply doesn't have the military. 27-2, so it is 1 knight at the moment, and 1 more knight in the stable here. But you see Villese, he's scared of the siege workshop and is going back.
Yeah, and I definitely think Villese is a bit more of a passive player. Like, he would rather just get more ahead than actually try and go for, like, a big risky play. And sometimes that is, going to be working out, sometimes not so much. Another stable DauT coming forward here for LaaaN. He wants to make something happen here in Castle Age, but eventually that huge, massive crossbows needs to be dealt with, as they'll just scale way better than these knights.
Yeah, so true. Like, cavalry attack isn't that pretty against someone who goes Arbalest, maybe Halberdiers, or even Plumed Archers with this, so I think Onagers might be the unit we will need to see a lot of for LaaaN here if he wants to have a chance in early Imperial Age.
And then, of course, as we've seen before, Chinese don't have the best Onagers, no siege engineers even on those guys. So there are a lot of opportunities in which they can be sniped. A siege workshop actually coming down here for Villese, I guess, just to deal with any forward mangonels. Does he actually know of the forward buildings of his opponent? No, he does not. So I guess this is just a safe defensive play. Right now, both players' economies more or less even. It's just one dude has a way larger and cheaper army.
Yeah, and like... Okay, now the Mangonels are knocking at the door. The thing is, normally, if you go for that much army, you kind of need to do damage. I'm a bit surprised that... Well, he's that far behind in eco.
Well, I mean, the crossbowmen for Mayans are really cheap, and LaaaN didn't really invest much into military, just the one stables. I mean, yeah, he has these 2 mangonels. Well, actually, no, now he has 3 stables, but he's only been producing from like 1 at a time, only 4 knights. So it's both players really aren't committing that many resources to military.
Oh, and this is going to be tricky. Let's go into the double POV. The crossbows are moving or trying to get away. Their mangonel shot could be pretty big. LaaaN, he is fine if he just continues to do damage. Oh, we have a conversion here. Crossbowmen now need to run away. Oh.
That could have been absolutely disastrous for Villese. 41 military to 10, though, in favor of our red player. I'm pretty sure he does not have ballistics yet, or thumb ring, so it's just going to be raw crossbow power, a little bit of a mangonel back and forth, and that's going to be 1-0 for Villese, but in come the Knights. They're going to be able to snipe the mangonel quite easily. Monk conversion is successful, but actually double monk conversion successful. I think the mangonels might get cleaned up.
Oh man, and that was so intense. Crossbow at least surviving here. One big shot, but he splits away. Mangonel needs to retreat, lost a lot of HP there. Who came out ahead in this fight?
I think Villese, by just the fact that it was a somewhat even trade, both players mostly just lost mangonels, and Villese is just keeping this huge, massive crossbowman alive, and that's really what you want to be doing, because all other things even, we have to imagine that Villese is going to have the faster Imperial Age since his army is so much cheaper.
Yeah, I think so as well. And, well, 3TC's farm count, let's see, 26 villagers here for LaaaN. On the other side, only 17 for Villese. That's not really an amount that catapults you in Imperial Age.
Not very quickly, at least, but he does have 9 villagers on stone, so he's going to be getting some sort of castle up eventually, whether that be for a plumed archer switch or just for obsidian arrows. Both options can certainly be quite good, but +2 defense now coming in for LaaaN. That's going to make these knights so much more efficient versus these crossbowmen. But still, the rewall here from Villese means LaaaN is kind of locked out again.
Yeah, and loses the mangonel here. That's not too pretty for him. Villese even doing something that is very untypical for a Mayan player, adding a 4th TC. Normally, Arbalests don't need the biggest eco, and also beautiful house wall here. The knights need to go around, and crossbow shouldn't have the biggest problems defending that top area. I like Villese's position more at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, but what are you talking about? 4 TCs is always the answer, no matter what the civ.
Do you think so?
No matter what you're doing, you just need villagers, and then you can afford to have terrible micro.
Ah.
That's how you win your games.
Okay, I didn't know.
But
Villese, by the way, still the crossbowman at the front here, blocking the gold, so keeps good eye on that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's just a nice, cute little move, making sure that his opponent can't just take that too freely, because if there was, like, say, a TC that would be established right there, then that would be much harder to raid, or even a castle. But speaking of castles, this one up here on the gold to the north of Villese's base is going to be quite nice as far as defending.
Yeah, and he built it super defensively, right? A lot of players would have built it like where the mangonel or the army is now, and he just feels, okay, if I just get it up, I think I can defend the gold well enough. Let's take a look at that. Looked like a ground attack that missed. Mangonel still with the 10 HP, now dies, and the split trades off 1 mangonel and 2 crossbows against 1 mangonel, but buys himself valuable time.
Yeah, that's I think the big thing here is that even though these trades so far have been relatively even, all things considered, the big thing is that all other things equal, and yeah, Imp now coming in here for Villese, he has the slight eco lead, but just over double the military. And if he gets to Imp and, you know, gets Obsidian Arrows, Arbalest, he can just smash through the base of LaaaN.
Yeah, if we get to that scenario. Now sees that LaaaN is moving out. He's actually going for archery ranges here. So we'll add some skirmishes, something that, well, feels well, I think that has to be the right choice, right? Because we thought, okay, oranges aren't the greatest thing. Nice quick wall here with the gate behind this. I like that he took the stone gate instead of the palisade gate as well.
Oh yeah, I mean otherwise the Knights do enough damage that they can just punch through that super easily, but still, there's only so much you can delay with one Villager against 2 Mangonels and a ton of Knights, but like look at this defensive position for these crossbowmen. It's so hard to get any good surface area on them. The Mangonels need to come forward, but there's just so much stuff blocking their way that it's going to be kind of hard for them to get a good position. This is all just buying time for a red player with another nice Mangonel hit.
Gets the 2 for 1 again, buying so much more time. Yeah, LaaaN is up to Imperial Age as well, gets some upgrades for his gets fletching, gets some more skirmishers out. So the army composition will be like Cavaliers, Elite Skirmisher, but that flock of crossbowmen that was never decimated, soon to be Arbalest, I still think it's looking better for our main player.
Yeah, definitely. I do think he should get obsidian arrows. Like, memes aside, it's a really, really good tech because the biggest weakness of like faster imp with Arbalest is that you don't kill buildings with them. So if your opponent can just fall back into their own Imperial Age, you know, sit behind a castle like LaaaN is building right by his main gold, then the Arbalests, you know, they don't really accomplish a whole lot, and then eventually the other player's army scales better. But with obsidian arrows, you don't care. You just kill the buildings.
Oh, but look at that tech switch by Villese now. 4 barracks here at the front, making it 5 in total, and he is banking a lot of resources. That is going to be a tech switch. He's going into Elite Eagles. Yeah, he will still get all the upgrades that we know and love for our Arbalest, but behind this is going to be a massive amount of Eagles.
Yeah, and we see this all the time from Mayans, that, okay, your opponent sees that you're making a ton of archers, so what do you do to deal with that? You make a bunch of Eagle Warriors to kill the skirmishers, but still, that is a lot of Knights out right now, and that is an ambitious castle, to say the least.
I think you can quick wall this pretty nicely. Stone wall, Stone Gate giving a Stone Gate here, Stone Gate there. No, not in time. Needs to run away. That's not too pretty for him. And, well, there will be some dead villagers. But now Arbalest out here, and I think the Knights can't take the fight either.
The OrnLu gets another kill right there onto a villager. I'm just out for blood today, apparently. But now we have a Trebuchet coming in here for our red player. Of course, that is what you get from having a faster Imperial Age. Second castle is on the way now for LaaaN as well. But this hill being taken, and this castle will of course, finish eventually. It's going to be really, really nice in the Trap War for Villese.
Yeah, that's so easy. Like, you're searching for more castles, for more trap production, you're searching for hills and the HP upgrades, and at the moment it looks like, well, double advantage there for Villese.
Indeed, that will be the case, and the Eagle Warrior transitions I think going to be really good because we see that LaaaN is focusing mostly on the Archer, or rather the Skirmisher in this case, upgrades. So those Eagle Warriors are just going to absolutely massacre them. The Knights, meanwhile, he's not really continuing production with them. He's probably not going to upgrade them too much further, and he's just going to be, you know, trying to raid with them. But that's not going to be enough to deal with a bunch of Eldorado Eagle Warriors.
Oh man, even Eldorado already on the way, or what? Did I miss that? It's going to be pretty brutal, but... well, gets the +2 defense for now, and now we can see them queued up here, and, well, as you said, skirms not too great, traps might die, and the counter attack with the Knights didn't find any damage either.
No, Villese is just so secure at home. Stone walls, houses, all the stuff you need to just slow your opponent down, and that's really just been the name of the game here for Villese, just slowing LaaaN down. Villese has been having the same economy as his opponent, but just investing less resources into military, so he's able to just get these better positions, get these larger army numbers, and able to take down this castle in just a second here, almost certainly. There's going to be 4 trebuchets.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sexy for him. Villese is not having this front gold. Nice quick walls here behind this area, and those Knights, they won't find any damage. Villese with a beautiful reaction here, buying himself so much time, and those Knights, they feel kind of wasted, right? Maybe you can snag some Arbalest, maybe some villagers, but that's not the damage you need to do with those.
No, the army differential is closing in, but there is just no answer to these Eagle Warriors. They don't have the greatest upgrades just yet, but they're about to have +4 defense. Actually, Villese does lose the castle. That Arbalests aren't really the greatest at killing trebuchets. That's going to be a small little bit of a win here for LaaaN, but he's really needing to hold on. But the problem is he's teching into Cavalier right now. It still doesn't feel like his army transition is going to be as strong as Villese's.
Yeah, he has, let's take a look, +4 defense, no attack upgrades there, and Cavaliers in those small numbers, I think you can't micro them that well. And, well, we now have the upgrade to Elite Eagle Warriors on the way, more queued up behind this, and as you said, 4 traps against, well, 2 for now, maybe soon to be, I'm not sure if he's losing or winning at the moment.
Well, I think he's mostly trying to focus down the castle, and I think that's really smart against Chinese, because if they don't have Chukonu, their late game is pretty lackluster. We saw that with Liereyy yesterday as well, I think, where Chinese, just they don't have a super strong, you know, set of options in the late game if you cannot get to Chukonu. Kind of like Mongols in that sense. But Elite Eagle Warrior now done +4 defense as well, and Eldorado now is on the way, forging. Elite Eagle Warriors with all those upgrades will just mow down small numbers of Cavaliers.
Oh, interesting army composition. The Eagle's good against the Skirms. Skirms good against Arbalest. Arbalest pretty solid against the Cavaliers, and Cavaliers actually good against the Eagles. So tricky army compositions here to micro. Gold investment obviously heavier with the Mariam player, especially because he still doesn't have his gold here at the front. We have some shenanigans here, and beautiful raid for Villese.
Yep, big Eagle raid coming in here to the south on this, I think it's a neutral gold. And yeah, like that supports Eagle Warriors for you. So strong with those upgrades now coming in. But LaaaN is starting to push back Villese, but our red player still just has a much larger army numerically.
What really happened there? It was like 4 traps against 2 castles were going down. Yeah, LaaaN doesn't have the greatest defense, but, well, Villese lost a lot of this aggression as well. Cavaliers now trying to take this fight, but honestly, that's not the prettiest thing ever for Mr. LaaaN here.
Skirmishers are just throwing their javelins at the Elite Eagle Warriors, which is, you know, barely any damage whatsoever. And yeah, the Cavaliers will, you know, body the Eagle Warriors in a big melee fight, but just so many Arbalests, what, 30 plus Arbalests sitting in the back. Yeah, those guys will just shred through those Cavalier. And now the military discrepancy is even larger, and I would be very surprised if LaaaN would be able to hold on for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. It might be even GG way earlier than that. We will see the Eagles pushing in, and the Arbalest behind this. No way to come back here for LaaaN, and Villese is taking it 1-0.
Yeah, Villese won Arabia yesterday against Hera as well, so seeming like a very strong Arabia player. His gameplay was just, there wasn't anything super flashy or crazy about it. It was just like very strong defensive play and just took the better positions and won the game.
Let's be honest, LaaaN didn't make it too hard on him, though. Like, the Siege Workshop, maybe through the center could have been a bit better. Just running around, losing that villager on the hill here, and then the other 2 being delayed so much. I think this mangonel attack, if you don't run into all those wolves and maybe go into the direct, well, pushing area or direct pushing line, I think you are knocking at the door like maybe 2.5 minutes earlier.
Well, that would be a huge difference if that would be the case, but yeah, it was kind of half-hearted aggression, right? It was aggression behind 3 TCs, so there's only so much you can do, and because you're making those knights, they're just harder on your economy, and Villese just, you know, Mayan armies are very cheap, and you can just get that huge mass and get the better position that way.
But is that how you want to play it? Like mangonel aggression slightly? You know that you never can kill your opponent, only delay him a bit, 3 TCs, but Villese did add his TCs as well.
Yeah, if I were playing in LaaaN's position, I would use the fact that my map is super good with those 2 golds in the back and just chill and wait till late game, where Chinese definitely have the advantage over Mayans. We've seen it a ton of times in this tournament so far.
Yeah, but those were also like very open maps, and this one felt like both players are already very walled, and the one direction push as well. But well, we have seen on it just perform really well with Chinese as well.
So that will be our Finnish player taking game number 1 in this best of 5. Next map is going to be some sort of hybrid map. It's either going to be Cross or Medi. We've seen Medi a few times. What do you think we'll be seeing if we go to Cross?
I think LaaaN played Japanese in the qualifier. Persians obviously considered to be a strong civilization. I'm a big Malay fan. I know TheViper is a big Malay fan as well. Yeah, I think those are our standard choices. LaaaN, or like on Cross, Spanish used to be pretty good as well. Easy wall into Conquistadors.
Huns as well.
There are different options. We have seen Malians in NAC 2. We have seen Portuguese in NAC 2, if I remember correctly, against Incas, the famous Viper against MBL game there.
Oh, yes. Still no Portuguese scene yet in this tournament. You must be very sad.
Yeah, I really like them, but, well, what can you do?
That's why you have to qualify next time for your own tournament.
I have to qualify next time. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Well, that's going to be tricky. And, well, let's take a look here at my... I'm spamming you out here.
And we are going to cross.
Did I get it?
Now Nili's riding the struggle bus.
You can see. You can take a look at me, like how I'm here. Give me. Stop spamming hearts.
Okay, I think we're going on to my POV right now while Nili, hopefully disembarks from the struggle bus. But we are on to cross right here. The first time I believe we were seeing it in this tournament, it will be a Japanese mirror with LaaaN losing the last game. He will be the blue Japanese here to the northwest of the map, and his opponent to the east of the map in the red. Obviously winning the last game will be Villese. So both players opting for the Japanese pick here. Obviously just going to be a very solid pick on any sort of hybrid map. You have the faster working fishing ships, so you can really abuse these 4 ponds that we see in all 4 corners of the map, hence the name cross, because the map kind of looks like one. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this map. I think there's just a lot of different things you can do. How valuable is pond control? Because as Nili was talking about, you have all of these ponds that can give you such a huge food eco, but if you can't survive on the land, then it doesn't really matter. And LaaaN has been making these land pushes so deadly.
Yeah, I think, like, if we look at cross, my first look always goes, where do we spawn with the players compared to where the pawns are? And this one feels pretty much like safe spots. It feels like the top and the west should go for LaaaN. Indeed, Villese here, this one, and in the bottom feels pretty safe for him. And that kind of indicates that we got into the more stable game and not too much fighting for the water. Ooh.
Feels bad, man.
Multi-ship.
F. So, yeah, interestingly, both players are going with the Japanese mirror here, and if we're seeing just a bunch of defensive play with, making sure you can get control of your pond, get control of your fishing ships, etc. What sort of army compositions are you looking from these players? Because Japanese have a lot of different things they can do.
I think in Mirror, Arbalests are dictating it a lot. In DM, actually, the best unit is CA nowadays, because you have Bloodlines, but it's tricky to get to that, and, well, it just feels so much more natural to already start producing your army in Fuel Age, stay with it in Castle Age, and then in the end, go for your strong tech that you like so much.
Yep. So we can see here from Villese's map, he has a reasonably okay wall at the front, wall over here, wall to the edge of the map, and something similar on the right side. LaaaN's map seems way more open by comparison. You can see it's got a lot to wall across here at the front, and then you can't, I guess you can like sort of wall over here, but yeah, it's definitely a bit trickier.
And you see how LaaaN realizes that, right? The house number 3, most of the time you're thinking, okay, how do I wall, where do I place it? And that's kind of in like, oh, let's start here.
Yeah, exactly. And of course it is on the way to this boar anyway, so that is definitely smart positioning here for LaaaN. And yeah, I think this is what you definitely want to be doing. Just wall across the front here, don't let your opponent potentially get into your gold mining area with a bunch of archers, so you just, again, reserve that space, make sure you're safe. LaaaN did that in the last game as well.
LaaaN, idle TC now, or villagers idle there for way too long. Yeah, he has enough food and fishing ship will kick in as well, but I don't want to say that rules out early feudal aggression, but it's not pretty.
Yeah, I mean, having to get loom there, not exactly what you want to be doing. The boar was just a little too far away to make that work super comfortably. However, LaaaN is a bit faster with his dock. You can see that Villese just now getting his first fishing ship out, as I assume LaaaN's already a little over halfway to getting his second on the way. I don't think we're too likely to see a bunch of like aggressive docks placed in the opponent's ponds. As Nili was saying, it's a pretty defensive setup as far as how these players are positioned, and LaaaN now getting housed as well. Oh, that's a rough Dark Age.
Oh yeah, so many mistakes what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
And like we already saw like 3 mistakes in the last minute. That's not the prettiest thing. Obviously, the thing is something we have to say about cross. Even if you screw up your Dark Age slightly, right? Those aren't like game-breaking mistakes. You can easily catch up if you just get your build a bit crisper and get 2-3 fishing ships out extra, and you're still ahead.
Yep, and especially with Japanese fishing ships being that much more useful, the faster work rate. But now we see Villese actually taking the fishing ship lead, even though LaaaN had the dock up first. So you can see those little mistakes in the Dark Age kind of biting him right now.
Yeah, that's sweet. Actually, if we see the villager account, guys, at the bottom, that is actually the work account, so that's villagers plus fishing ships. And Villese, well, 1.5 ahead there, is now catching up with Loom and clicks up to Feudal Age.
I thought you could click on it, man.
If you click shift
Oh, it's you click shift?
and you jump into the TC. No?
No?
What? I thought that happened to me
I
again
thought-
before.
Oh,
Feels bad, man.
yeah. Anyway, no barracks on the way just yet. Oh, just kidding. There is a barracks on the way, but it's not like the earliest barracks in the world. I don't think this is going to be for men-at-arms. The villagers are just now going to be going over to the gold, so I would assume that this is just going to be for the archer play that Nili was talking about earlier. Think that makes oodles of sense, and actually, just kidding, OrnLu doesn't know anything. It is for men-at-arms.
Yeah, 2 villagers most of the time indicating men-at-arms, 3 most of the time is going for archers. Question is, how will LaaaN deal with that? He is trying to wall his map, but it's going to be tricky. But distance isn't the shortest. What does he see? Let's go into his point of view and see where to scout.
Oh, all the wrong buttons.
That's Villese.
You know.
Exactly. Good job.
There we go.
And you have to click all visible again. Thanks, D. Oh, now he sees it. we are sure about that.
Yeah. It is good, though. LaaaN did bring his scout in at a really good time, so he knows exactly what's going down. It's just going to be a matter of, can you defend it? So it's going to be the counter men-at-arm play as well, but it just seems like Villese is just a little bit ahead in most respects this game. Everything's just a bit more crisp here for Villese. See the military count 4-2. His men-at-arm upgrade is going to be faster, but nonetheless, quick walls going to be, I think, pretty good here for LaaaN.
Are they?
Yep.
Oh, why did the scout not block the set there?
A little bit of a mistake there from Villese. Archery range instantly being thrown down for LaaaN. Obviously, that is going to be the best way to deal with some swordsmen early on, and it will be coming down to the micro here once the men-at-arm upgrade comes in. Right now, the militia just need to run.
Yeah, and well, Japanese hitting a bit faster, but if the men-at-arms of your opponent are also from Japanese and also hitting faster, you don't really get the advantage there. I love that we always see more fishing ships added in the production tab. Villager count / worker count pretty even. We can see 4, 2, 5, soon to be 6. And look at that, I see a galley being queued up. That's probably to protect the pond at the top. Fight is going to be even.
The power of micro. Looks like LaaaN taking a much, much better fight so far. Most of his men-at-arms are at very high HP counts still. So, yeah, you know, despite the rocky opening still being behind in villagers, at least this little fight is going in favor of LaaaN. I just don't think it's going to matter all that much because we see the archer range already completed here for Villese. He's got one queued up. He is mostly, if not completely, walled already. So this fight is unfortunately likely going to be fairly meaningless.
Yeah, that's actually, I didn't understand for quite some time before I took the Hera coaching. Like for fights like those are only important if you get into the eco.
Exactly.
But even if you have like 3 men-at-arms left there, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because like if your opponent's making any amount of archers, these guys are more or less paperweights, and they just can never close the gap. Your opponent will always micro back. Yeah, and this is the galley that Nili was talking about for LaaaN.
Could have been such an easy wall here. Then he could have saved the galley, could have had more map control. And, well, as you can see, Villese is only walling now. So he could have been snuck as well here.
Yeah, definitely. Look at this. 8 fishing ships right now for Villese. That is going to be some nice food income. Only 5 for LaaaN. And on top of saving the resources for the galley, it's time that the dock could be making more fishing ships. You can see that kind of reflected in this 3 villager advantage right now for Villese.
Men-at-arms knocking at the front door, archers are coming over, even building a house behind it. We see fletching for Mr. LaaaN. Population looks pretty even here, I would say. Military, slight advantage for LaaaN, not too important as we said earlier. This could be a long one.
This could indeed be a long one. I don't really see these guys able to accomplish a whole lot in Feudal Age. I do like how Villese is milling these deer to the south. Japanese, of course, have the cheaper mills, so why not? You're safe. You're not going to be taking any damage there. We do have fletching versus no fletching for LaaaN, but it's still going to be a little bit hard to break, and he's actually even going away from the palisades, just looking at the houses.
Maybe it felt too easy to rewall there with the villagers around on the berries. Might have been one of the reasons. And, well, we said earlier, LaaaN has a good chance to come back if he catches up with the amount of fishing ships, and that's what he's trying to do. Now building a second dock at the left-hand side and already started production.
Yep, very good stuff for him. This south pond is as of yet undocked so far. And LaaaN has the map control. Archers at the back here from Villese will be able to push away the men-at-arms for now. LaaaN even going for the third dock as that lady is currently getting OrnLu'd. LaaaN not really having the best luck with wolves so far in this series, but I think he should be able to get this up without too much issue, and that's going to be really, really nice for him going into the mid game with just all the food production.
And as I said, he won a game with 1 against 3 dogs, and now if he gets the 3 pawns now against 1 for Villese, he should just fly towards Imperial Age so much faster.
I mean, especially if these guys are going for the crossbow into arbalest play, like you said, those guys don't cost any food, so you can really easily bank up the food you need to get to the Imperial Age. Also, you have a ton of villagers on gold, which collects very quickly in the mid game. We could be seeing a very, very quick imp strike here from LaaaN if he's able to get, you know, all of these 3 pawns up and running. With that said, Villese will be faster up to Castle Age.
Yeah, but we see LaaaN can click up any second, close to 800 food, 200 gold, and, well, also Japanese fishing bonus. Really helping out there in the long run, and yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing LaaaN going completely ham, not building a single farm. Love that. Even builds a defensive tower there. That's a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit surprising, especially because he has so many archers at home. You know, if he could, I think, fairly comfortably deflect his opponent if he went for some sort of aggression. But now you're going to see Villese hitting Castle Age, and you know, not too long. Military count is pretty even. Do you think a forward siege workshop is going to be on the table for anybody?
I don't think so, honestly. I think we should just normally jump into fast Imperial Age, maybe 1 Mangonel. But for me, the defensive tower indicates fast imp.
Do you think it's going to be like full 1 TC? Oh, no, he does have 3 villagers on stone, so he's likely going to be adding in additional town centers. That's usually what that amount of villagers on stone means at this point. So it could just be a very, very passive game here, but that sort of thing should favor LaaaN as he has all of these pawns.
Yeah, but is he that far ahead in fishing ships? Because Villese was just so much faster there with his production, kept the dock running. We can see 11 fishing ships here. Nearly Mass has 7 plus. What did you just select a villager?
I accidentally selected deer.
Oh, a deer. Okay.
So it's 8 fishing ships here, plus another 4 is 10, plus 1 is 2 is 12.
8 plus 4 plus 2?
8. You know what? You're the math guy.
Okay.
It's
Well,
14.
one more, 2 more, certainly for Mr. LaaaN. And as we can see now at the bottom, he is leading that with 5 villagers. Once he reaches Castle Age, we can compare those numbers. Crossbowman already finished for Villese. He's trying to find some damage here through the center.
Definitely. But LaaaN is pretty safe at home. Yes, this is only palisade walls, but the tower here should be enough to shoo the crossbowmen away. Everything else is houses and archery ranges and stuff. So yeah, you see Villese instantly backing up the truck right there. Instantly also we see gill nets coming in for LaaaN. Really, really like this. This is going to just make his food economy explode. Meanwhile, Villese going with a very quick ballistics tech as well as a second town center.
Yeah, so he's trying to catch up with eco in that way. Makes a lot of sense. You need a lot of gold if you want to go for all the desired army compositions there with arbalest, potentially onagers, traps, and later, well, we'll need to see some towers as well. And LaaaN, he's going for the university as well.
Yep, just pretty standard stuff there as well. Gold shaft mining, I think, just now coming in. Crossbow and upgrades are pretty much even. I guess eventually these crossbowmen will punch through this house, but I don't think LaaaN will let him. Currently the crossbow numbers are almost even.
22 minutes. KD was 2-1 before this fight. Now finally we see something dying here. Another villager dying here for Villese at the front. And, well, both disengaging, knowing, okay, if I want to engage, I need to fight uphill. And both players not really too excited by that idea.
Yeah, I think both players would rather just sit back and relax. Siege Workshop now on the way for Villese as well, but again, I can't help but feel like the longer this goes on, the better and better it's going to be for LaaaN with all of those extra pawns, especially because with Japanese fishing ships especially, you can see that Villese already having to start with fish traps, and although they aren't bad per se, they're not as good as, you know, normal deep fish.
Yeah, fish traps and farms as well. On the other side, we have LaaaN not building a single farm, not a single fish trap, so he's using that so much nicer, and, well, quite beautiful micro here.
Yeah, LaaaN definitely with a little bit better micro. You see 18 crossbowmen now to 9. That is double. I know that much math. Third TC now here in the north as well for Mr. Villese, but that is going to be under a little bit of pressure from these crossbowmen. Mangonel could be on the way, but yeah, it is.
And comparing resources, we just saw 900 food, 500 gold or something for LaaaN and Villese absolutely at the bottom there. Imp timings will be completely different here.
Turns out Japanese fishing ships with gill nets are pretty good at collecting food, and he only has 15 food gatherers right now, and because he has no farms, it means that he has, I guess, 17 fishing ships now, and like he's just able to generate that much food, and like we were saying with going for crossbowmen, need a lot of gold miners, and boom, Imperial Age, there we go.
We could have saved a lot of embarrassment just looking at that number earlier.
Yeah, we really could have, but you know, it's in hindsight's 2020.
Okay, now we see the Mangonel cannot be produced there by LaaaN. Siege Workshop has to be cancelled. Goes back. I thought he'd build another one in the back, but not really going for that. Could he maybe just wait it out till Arbalest, or will he get pressured enough?
Well, Imperial Age is already 28% complete, so it's not going to be too much longer. Villese also just now getting gill nuts, whereas LaaaN has had that pretty much since the beginning of Castle Age. I do like the additional archery ranges being added. I think LaaaN should be okay. Don't think that, because you'd have to punch through here, rotate all the way over here without any sort of quick wall defense going down, and oh, LaaaN just now getting Bosaw. That's a little rip, but still, he's up on his way to him.
I don't mind it too much, honestly. Like, going up for Imp a bit earlier makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he had 26 on wood. Yeah, I think it's not too bad. And LaaaN, he's still playing at 1 TC against the 3 TCs of Villese, so...
I mean, is it really 1 TC, though, when you have 3 dock fishing ship production?
Yeah, technically it is.
I mean, you are technically correct, but...
Which is the best form of correct.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Bureaucrat, man.
Welcome to Germany.
Oh, yes. But here we go. Imp 73% of the way done, +2 defense versus +1 defense. So if there is a big shootout, that will be helping Mr. LaaaN. But in come the Mangonel alongside those crossbowmen. Actual crossbow numbers are pretty even still, though. 23 versus 19.
Okay, so now the castle's being built here. Very defensively, but makes a lot of sense. Without any Mangonels, he couldn't really get all the time to, well, get the map control. Flies in with the upgrades there, Arbalest, and, well, Villese isn't that far behind now. Clicks up to Imp as well. And I don't think that we will have too much traps out to pressure early on. LaaaN, yeah, he will put on a bit of aggression, but I think Villese is completely fine behind this.
Well, again, it's kind of the similar problem as I was talking about in the last game. If you're going for a faster Imp and having Arbalests, they kind of are not good at killing buildings unless you have Obsidian Arrows or are Saracens, but that is obviously not the case here. And without a ton of siege, there is a Trebuchet that is queued up, but that'll take some time to be produced and then make its way all the way over here and take down all the buildings. So I do think that Villese is likely fine. He's fairly well set up defensively here.
Better eco as well. Mangonels shouldn't really connect. Villagers, we should see some dying here. That would have been a beautiful castle placement, but obviously didn't have the map control for that. Mangonels, well, will both survive. We will see some repair there as well. And LaaaN, let's take a look. He sends more villagers forward. 320 stone in the bank for him.
Both players making quite a few towers. It might be time to see some Yasuma. Viper researched it in his game versus Liereyy yesterday, but it never really mattered. So LaaaN already has the castle. He could go for it, and those Japanese towers will shred through Mangonels, Onagers, and Arbalest quite well.
I think if we see a Japanese mirror, we cannot call it Yasuma. We need to do it with more enthusiasm. Like, Yasuma!
Yasuma! Yeah, good old, it's second arrow slits. In case you guys don't know, Yasuma is Japanese for arrow slits, and there's also the tech at the university, arrow slits. So Japanese get double the arrow slit power. It's why they get extra arrows. You just have so many arrow slits.
Ah, makes so much sense. And well, Arbalest, well, they're trying to chase down the villagers, but now are going back. And that could be an interesting choke point here. Only one Mangonel in that siege workshop, though.
Yeah, one Mangonel, maybe you can try and get a villager kill, but I think a couple are on the hill. And these guard towers are just going to be so nice at helping secure this position, because since neither player are making like a bunch of heavy cavalry or units with a ton of pierce armor, no siege rams obviously for Japanese, these towers are just going to do so much damage to everything that their opponent's going to be making.
And it's blocking 2 gold spots now. Look at that. Villagers have to go back, blocking the one at the top. The tower is going down there as well and lands faster in timing. Might have been enough. Also, sneaky market at the bottom.
Is it a market rush?
It's a market rush. He's trying to trade from there. Oh, it's so sneaky.
Almost as good as the forward blacksmith, so you can, you know, throw the new weapons and armor at your units that much more quickly.
Okay, Abeles now diving in pretty deep, but not finding too much. Yeah, they're idling a lot of the eco, killing more archery ranges at the front. Villese surprisingly still ahead in eco, has just so many more workers on the land. Did try to go for a counterattack, but did ran into the castle of land there at the left-hand side.
Yep, castle here does deny everything. Another wolf trying to get in on the fun, but yeah, that's not going to be too great for Villese. Also, something that is noteworthy is that all of these archery ranges are getting picked off, so there's very little Arbalest production, unless I'm like completely missing it somewhere.
Very little OrnLu.
That's like 0.
0 little. And look at ballsy land now taking gold spot there. Could even take the farm. That's actually pretty sweet to see from Villese earlier, now from land. And well, he is just trying to find another angle, now attacking the starting TC. Really rarely is that a good sign if traps are shooting at your starting TC.
Definitely not, and also notably is that the Arbalest upgrades are definitely in favor of LaaaN. Neither have chemistry just yet, but it is on the way for both players. LaaaN does have all of the armor upgrades though, which will help a fair bit in a big shootout. This is a pretty nice position for Villese though. He's fighting with almost all of his army, and LaaaN was only fighting with a little bit of his own, but these towers are slowly but steadily creeping forward, and it's just going to be providing such a good position for our blue player. Onagers might be the last best chance here for Villese.
Yeah, and neither Japanese nor English arrow slits researched so far, so those are pretty standard guard towers, and well, traps are still doing a good job. Mangonel could, well, just eat some stones in its face.
Yeah, that's not too great. The tower will be denied for the time being. Villese does have a pretty nice defensive position behind this university, but his town center is still getting sniped. With that said, he is 20 villagers ahead, but like that military discrepancy is so bad, and without those archery ranges, it's hard to come back. He's just now building more. As LaaaN is actually pushing in from like almost all the angles.
Oh, market rush still feel health. Yeah, but Abeles controlling the left-hand side there as well. Onagers trying to scare them away, but well, that's
actually cap rams in these siege workshops. I thought they'd be onagers, so a big ram push. I mean, I guess LaaaN doesn't really have anything to, you know, kill the cap rams, but it's definitely worth noting that, especially when the Arbalest numbers are so few for Villese, you can just make a few samurai really quickly, and they'll just shred through the rams if you're going for a castle.
Where's he going with those rams? If he tries to go up top, it's blocking with the cliff and the stone. Over there at the left-hand side, he's still losing too much at the front. I think the positioning of the siege workshops isn't that optimal.
Oh yeah, and you can't even, yeah, the stone's blocking it right here as well, so a little bit questionable right there for sure. And you know, slowly but steadily, we have LaaaN creeping forward with these towers. I mean, some huge onager shots. I'm not even sure if they would be enough. This is going to be a nice trade, though, for Villese, cleaning up these few numbers of Arbalests in the south. But now, villagers are dropping near the farmland fishing ships as well. And yeah, the villager count has now been evened up by LaaaN.
That's a pretty sexy raid, actually. Like killing 10, 12 fishing ships here on that pond. That's very nice for him. And just look at the map, right? It is land space, then a vast nothingness of space. And then we have Villese space with some blue dots in there as well. It's so weird how little map control we have from both players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the thing with Japanese is because their army is so slow, you're kind of going for this slow tower creep push with Arbalest, so it's not like you can just spread units out absolutely everywhere. Villese not going for a pretty interesting castle placement here in the middle of the map, which, if he had complete control over his base, would be a fantastic positioning, but, you know, he doesn't. So he's still going to start get absolutely cleaned up, and all of these villagers are in complete jeopardy.
Oh man, that's so brutal. Would love to see like 2-3 light cav raids there as well. Not really sure how good the eco of that is. He has over 100 workers, so could be an option. Now started farming as well. But look at that. He has like, in the 39-minute mark, that's all the farms he had all game long.
5 farms. And that's just the power of fishing ships right there. Of course, now that the fish numbers are running low, you're going for the fish traps. But now that fish traps have been, I think, buffed, and you have gill nets available to you and Japanese faster work rate, it's still a very good source of food income.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the big ram go through the center. We have a small obelisk rate at the bottom as well, and that's going to be really, really nice there in the woodline. Villese needs to run. Let's go back to the push through the center because LaaaaaN, he doesn't have a good answer to that.
No, I mean, he can make some Panic Samurai, but now the Arbalest numbers are sufficient that those guys would be dropping instantly. And it's going to take a long time for these guys to destroy those capped rams. So that's going to be a little bit rough. Trebuchet coming in here as well for Bless. The military discrepancy is still in favor of LaaaaaN, but it's not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, but villages are getting brutal because Villese was always 10 villages ahead, 20 villages ahead. Suddenly he's 30 behind. Onage now doing a good job here. Traps are continuing to move forward. More towers are leapfrogging, and it just feels like a bit like a base trade, but I think the push of LaaaaaN is just so much stronger.
Well, the thing is, Vilese's base trade attempt is coming in so much slower and with so many fewer units, and if eventually LaaaaaN gets the army he needs to clean this all up, then he's just totally fine. If this army gets cleaned up, you still have to go through all of these towers that, LaaaaaN can fall back to, and now he has his own onagers coming in. That castle's a good position to attack, but it doesn't defend your base, and you're just going to continuously hemorrhage villagers and space.
Oh man, rough spot, and well, you can see Villese now has to resign over under 100 or roughly 100 pop. LaaaaaN just with such a strong push there, but what can you do? It was 3 pawns against 1 pawn all game long.
Yeah, Villese just not really being as aggressive or not even aggressive, just like assertive in taking control of those pawns. And LaaaaaN just sent a villager, and was pretty much good to go. And that was a very strong game here from our Spanish player. First game he's taking so far in this tournament.
Really?
Because he lost 0-3 to...
Don't quit? Okay, don't quit.
Not quitting.
Not quitting. Statistics, yeah, but if you quit current game, it shows statistics as well.
Yeah, okay.
Overlay guy got nervous. Don't quit, OrnLu.
No, it's fine. LaaaaaN obviously with nearly a 2-to-1 kill death ratio, larger army. The economic advantage, at least as far as like the boom goes, was in favor of Villese, but it comes down to when you get your military units, when you can see a bit of a fight here, and it's just in here, it's like one dude's building a bunch of towers and it's denying all of your gold. Yeah,
and he was just up so much earlier. Yeah, that's like Bracer, the 2 traps, the towers gave him the control, double gold away, and Villese, I'm not sure if he even scouted the extra golds, but at the left-hand side.
Yeah, probably not, but like Cross is a map that you want to scout as much as possible because you need to check on all of the pawns, well, at least 3 of the 4 pawns, and they are apparently already in the next game.
Oh man, they aren't here to chill. And next game is going to be Graveyards, a map that I absolutely love. It kind of gets you into late game, but it also gets you into late game with beautiful civilizations. And well, we can jump into the action. We will have something we didn't have so far, an Aztec's Mirror.
Indeed, indeed. We will have LaaaaaN as our blue Aztec player to the far north of the map of Graveyards. And here to the south, in the red as the Aztecs, will be Villese. And series is tied 1 apiece, both players having strong performances in their respective wins, so we'll have to see what Graveyards is going to bring us. Nili, why is this map so good for Aztecs?
Well, we can just see, okay, Villese did get his sheep here. It is so good because we have massive amount of relics, as you can see, all scattered around the map. We get up to 11 relics, look at that, even 3 extra relics in the back here. And Aztecs, they get 33% more gold with their relics, so just beautiful in general. They would be great on Arabia, and on Graveyards, they are absolutely top tier.
Yeah, I think with Graveyards, it makes sense to pick Aztecs or maybe Lithuanians if you're feeling out there. But nah, Aztecs are going to be the safer pick. These guys have way more experience playing Aztecs, and all of that extra gold generation from the relics is just extra good for Aztecs in particular because their army is always going to be very gold intensive. So if you can continuously like produce all of those Eagle Warriors and Monks and Siege and all that stuff, it's going to be really, really hard to stop. So that naturally leads us to an Aztec mirror.
Yeah, and map control becomes really important. And if we take a look at Villese map, you have to say, okay, this woodline at the left-hand side, it kind of screams like Drush fast imp or something. He cannot be attacked at all. But on graveyards, that isn't that super sick. Because if he goes Drush into, let's say, crossbows early imp, and LaaaN goes for, let's say, something like Man-at-Arm forward, some Mangonels, and gets a monastery behind it, we can easily get into the scenario that we get like 9-2 relics.
Yeah, and that is just going to be an absolute disaster in an Aztec mirror, because on top of Aztecs having a ton to do with gold, conversely, they have very little to do without gold. And especially in the mirror scenario, you're just going to die super hard. So like you get to what, Elite Eagle Warrior, and then make 20 Eagle Warriors, and then you're like, oh no. And then your opponent kills you with like 50 Castle Age Eagle Warriors.
Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, at the other skirms, not performing too well at some point in the game. And we also have to say like how much gold Villese has in the back. So maybe he still just tries to play it, right? Wards at the front, take all the back gold, and try to play the Eagle Go with like an untouchable eco, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it is just so easy to defend. The base of Villese just needs a few walls in the front and on the right-hand side, and he's going to be good to go. And honestly, with this much gold in the back of his base, you can really make something happen, I think, in early Imperial Age. What do you think? Will it be Eagles or will it be Arbalest? Because now that you can start to get your Eagle production going a bit earlier, they are, I think, a bit more viable than an AOC, so is it going to be Eagles or Arbs?
I think for map control, I think both players could go for Eagles. It feels like LaaaN, if he wants to attack, Arbalest into Jaguars are better, but his own map will be so much more open and he needs to expand so much more. That's why I think Villese will go for Eagles to punish that.
Yeah, I think that makes lots of sense, and because, you know, the open map, the Eagles will run around everywhere, do all of the raiding damage that you could possibly need, and it's kind of hard for Aztecs to defend that, just because in an Aztec mirror, all your units are dying super fast because your units do a lot of damage but don't have a lot of HP. And yeah, it's like getting all those little advantages in terms of positioning or like some villager kills, everything can just rapidly snowball out of control.
Yeah, that's like snowballing is something in Aztec mirror, as you said, like just blocking the gold spot of your opponent, main gold spot of your opponent once in the game might just win you the game because you keep up the production and your opponent can't.
Yeah, it's like Aztecs are such a fast civ in terms of you can make so many military units so quickly and still have a strong economy and tech behind it. And when both players are doing that, it's like you're on a razor's edge in terms of who's going to win and who is going to die very quickly. But here we see a little bit of a divergence. 4 militia queued up here for LaaaN. He wants to go for a big old rush.
Yeah, like Villese could queue up more as well. The thing is, LaaaN's... Oh, well, we're walling this way on the left-hand side here. Doesn't really matter too much.
That's a Liereyy wall right there.
So, every militia LaaaN builds can only be for defense. And he actually cancelled... What? He cancelled 1. Yeah, okay, so he's in the end going for 3. It is the classical number, and... Well, he will be walled quite nicely as well, but it just feels that he's controlling way less gold. With all those walls, he only has his main gold spot and not a single extra gold spot in his base.
That's pretty feels bad, man. However, he does have a couple relics, as well as a bunch of stone spots, actually. And, you know, this is one of the matchups where Jaguar Warriors can really shine, but a little bit of a Drush fight here. I think it is going to be an incredibly inconsequential fight.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess Villese is going to win, but...
What's the better civilization? Who's the better player? What's the better color?
It's red. It's definitely red.
It is red. Winner.
Player 2. Fight.
He can tell some stories. You know, the one time I've alone fought 500 other militias and still left with 16 HP. And people, well, they can't check the facts because everyone else is dead.
But then who is he bragging to? Himself? Because he's so scarred by the battle and is just not sane anymore?
Maybe he gets home. Or maybe the eagle stops by. And then the eagle brags like, oh, I just won a 1v1 eagle fight. I'm so good. And then the militia like, yeah, you saw that battleground?
Feels bad, man. I mean, really, neither player advancing to the feudal age with any great haste. Aztecs, obviously, incredibly good farmers. And not gonna be too worried. I think Fast Castle is gonna be here for both players.
Absolutely. With those early
Oh, wow.
walls, it's
Identical
impossible to
fuel
do.
times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, makes a lot of sense, right? With those walls, you cannot be taking too much damage, even if you screw up the defense. Like, where can your opponent attack? Not anywhere, really. So you always feel safe to just go fast castle. And as I said, we will have two different approaches, right? Villese probably not going for too many relics. Will just take all the extra gold in his bag, and LaaaN, he needs to expand. I think he's the guy who kind of needs to get the map control in Castle Age.
He does need to get the map control in Castle Age, but I think he'll have the opportunity to do so. What I don't know for Villese is, okay, or for LaaaN rather, is, okay, you take map control, you get the relics, you know, you make a few eagles, monks, whatever. Do you try and go with like forward siege workshop and really start to put the pressure on your opponent, or do you just try and get a huge economy behind it with all of those relics?
I think, like, what he did in game number 1 is what I would like a siege workshop, 5 crossbow, and maybe even double monastery, something at those spots, and just try to collect as many as possible, and then just get in like a minute later than your opponent.
Yeah, but you'll have so much more gold production and should be able to make a ton more military units. It's going to be down to Villese being able to make an early imp timing work if these players are going for what we think they are. Market blacksmith for Villese, LaaaN market likely going to be a blacksmith as well.
Yep, flying in here exactly, trying to build a like second natural wall behind this, and well, the militia at the left hand side is still chopping away. Nothing too special happening. Ask me a question, OrnLu.
How are you enjoying NAC 3 so far compared to other years?
Ask me a creative question.
Oh, fine. Okay. What is
The capital of...
What is the capital of,
No!
of Uzbekistan?
Fun.
You needed to play.
I know
you needed-
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan is Baku.
Yeah, I knew that.
But you know you need to play the Tamerlane campaign, man.
I don't like campaigns.
I know you don't like campaigns.
Oh, congrats, OrnLu.
It's Tashkent.
I could have never known that.
Anyway, Castle Age times, it's a little bit faster for Villese. It's not that big of a deal. Double barracks on the way for him, so it's definitely going to be Eagle Warriors. LaaaN not really showing his hand just yet.
He has 7 villages on gold, so it has to be something. He's producing a bit of eagles. He's going back both with the double with the axe at the moment. We have the defense upgrade for Villese, so he will actually be the guy with more map control, and most likely we'll have LaaaN. Let's take a look at his resources. Well, not too much wood. And more on gold now.
Is it going to be like a ton of monasteries and just go full Vululu?
Yeah, does that really work? It feels a bit like an arena game at the moment.
Yeah. And, you know, both players would be going like Eagles plus Monks at that point, and the Eagles should be doing really well at sniping the Monks, even with Aztec like extra HP potentially. Second barracks now on the way for LaaaN, so ultimately I think these guys are working towards doing the exact same thing, which is kind of surprising considering both have just such different maps.
Yeah, but well, it is also the map, right? And it's not like you have the perfect scouting intel of the map of your opponent, right? It's like LaaaN doesn't know how much gold Villese has in the bag. Villese doesn't know that LaaaN has no extra gold except his main gold in the bag, so it's tricky to adjust the strategies.
Yeah, that's definitely something you need to consider when, you know, you can see everything, but the players obviously cannot. Just squires coming in for LaaaN. Villese has a bit more military. I think the question is going to be who adds the extra monasteries faster, who's going to add extra town centers faster, or maybe, oh no, that's a monastery. So LaaaN will be actually the one with the first monastery.
And Villese not going for any castle buildings at the moment. I'm a bit surprised by that. Now builds the monastery at the front here. Builds it one tile further away. Was probably scared that he couldn't delete the palisades or something. And well, I think this is as mirror as we can get. Double barracks, 1 monastery, no TCs added at the moment.
Yep, it's very safe, I would say, from both players. It's not like you're going super aggressive with like 3 to 4 barracks and monasteries. Obviously, no one's adding extra TCs yet. So, as of right now, it's just nice and chill. Okay, first extra TC being added by LaaaN to the north of his base.
Okay, so that's the first economic approach.
There we go.
And, well, we see Villese, he's playing a bit more aggressive. Has 10 military to 6. Is now even going for the Eagle Warrior upgrade.
This is like the exact opposite of what we expected to see, with LaaaN going for at least the more defensive approach, and the guy whose base is pretty much walled for him going for the aggressive approach. But Eagles tearing down this house pretty quickly. I don't know if they have arson yet, but regardless, they're going to be punching through quite quickly.
Yeah, they don't have arson. I would be really surprised. But also we had the militia working at it earlier.
Oh,
and
that's right.
We already had like 400, 500 HP down there.
So what is the defense going to be? The thing with Aztecs...
Oh, counterattack. Sorry for
Ooh.
interrupting you, my man. Let's take a look. Monk could easily get sniped, but Eagle's actually running away. That's a bit of a surprise to me here. We still will have the conversion afterwards, but we'll see 2-3 villagers die here for sure. Unless we see the best quick walls.
I think it was a matter of you didn't want to run into the town center, just lose all that HP on his Eagle Warriors, but now we have the actual Eagle Warrior upgrade in for Villese, having the Monk here, and yeah, it might not be the most damage in the world done by LaaaN, but meanwhile, Eagles are slowly but surely starting to whittle through, and I'm not sure how LaaaN plans on defending against that.
Houses and repairing. You just need one Monk behind it, right? That kind of feels like the standard approach to something like that. Either get some range units or a Monk, which is kind of a range unit as well. By the way, we lost the Monk and the Eagles at home here. That was really surprising to me. And now those two Eagles, well, they can finally get some villager kills.
They're trying. There is one more Eagle Warrior coming in here. I'm going to target the weak Eagle Warrior by for LaaaN, and that's quite nice. And only one villager going down, I think?
Yeah, it seems like it. The rest did clear it up quite nicely, instantly going back to work. And at the top, oh, that might be broken. A mistake by LaaaN here. That should never have happened. The Monk was idle there at the top as well. That is pretty costly for him. We'll lose one or maybe even two villagers, or maybe not even a single one. And, well, that's still ugly.
Yeah, third TC on the way for LaaaN. He is really trying to be nice and greedy here. Is starting to collect the relics as well. Has 2 already. And, ooh, is even going to get these Eagles as they try and retreat. Monk's trying to go for some conversions as well.
Oh yeah, and they will get theirs quite easily, and well, better numbers, although he has weaker upgrades, closes the door behind it, and yeah, loses 2 Monks, but I think that was still okay-ish for LaaaN.
There is some weird bugging out with these infantry units going on, and Villese did not take anywhere near as good of a fight as I think he could have. Just, I think, getting really stuck up there. And now LaaaN, he has equalized the military count, but is on 3 TCs, and he's 4 villagers ahead, but he's going to be getting even more ahead.
And he has, as you said, the 2 relics working for him. Is maybe jumping for the 3rd one here. No, Monk not really working. Nice quick wall here at the front with the villager, keeping those Eagles out.
Yeah, really, really nice play there from LaaaN. And yeah, just still going to be on the 3 barracks now, getting his own Eagle Warrior upgrade. Forging, I guess, coming in. Squires as well for Villese. Just kind of slowly adding in Eagles, not really wanting to go for like a huge push, but just enough to like try and take map control, try and maybe get some relics. There is a siege workshop in the base of Villese, but it hasn't really been used yet. I'm not too sure what this is going to be used for.
A Scorpion, apparently. Well, it can add some damage, but it's not the greatest unit against Eagle Warriors, in my opinion. I think just Eagle spam is the way to go normally in those spots.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Aztecs is I feel that unless you can really like outmass them early on with archers, the Aztecs need to get to either swordsman line or jaguars, both of which are expensive and a little bit tricky to get to. So the best play for being able to boom up behind is just make more Eagle Warriors than your opponent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're seeing right here as the 4th barracks comes in for LaaaN.
It sounds so simple, but that's actually how it works. Monks can get some conversions behind it. Now we have the problem for LaaaN, since he only has the 1 gold spot. Villagers are blocking at the top, and he needs to expand now. Scorpion, how much damage is he doing? We now take the engagement. I think this one should be better for LaaaN.
It should be, indeed. He also has the faster reinforcements. Eagle Warriors are going to be quickly coming out of those barracks. And although the upgrades, I think, are slightly... but nope, actually, upgrades are completely even. And once again, Villese is going to be chased away. 5 villager advantage for LaaaN. He is just looking to be in a super comfortable position right now.
We were before. Lee has no idea if LaaaN has this behind.
We're getting it right now.
Okay, so both players getting wheelbarrows, so that makes perfect sense here. Nice timing by both of them. Villese, oops, he is going for some gold in the back, and well, he's sitting on 3 TCs, so we're just going for the very even approach there. Who do you think has the advantage?
I think LaaaN, he had the 3 TCs faster. He's going to be maintaining around a 5 villager advantage or so. He has more relics. And at this point, like we were saying in the beginning of the game, this matchup really hangs on a razor's edge. And if you can get to Imperial Age and get Elite Eagle Warrior, just smash your opponent in the face with those, like that can instantly end the game.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, that's so obvious. If you get like the jump from normal Eagle Warriors to Elite Eagle Warriors is just enormous.
Oh yeah, like they have even just what 5 more HP, 2 more attack, and the Pierce Armor isn't relevant. But I think like especially like the faster movement speed, you just like surround your opponent's Eagle Warriors. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the flood is crazy there for sure. And we now see even more map control by LaaaN, and now they're kind of pathing each other. Let's take a look here. Right hand side, Villese is trying to make something happen. LaaaN is going to the left hand side. Uh-oh, this is a Kentucky Shuffle.
A Kentucky Shuffle? I have never heard that term before.
How is it called? It's the Kentucky Shuffle.
I'll trust you on that. But yeah, like you were saying, both players are Kentucky shuffling past each other. It's a verb now, by the way. And might try and see LaaaN go for a big counterattack. I think Villese actually is not possibly going to quick wall this, or
I think how. I think just moving out makes so much sense for that. Score was pretty even. Wong was getting attacked, but gets out there as well. Yeah, just passing.
Yeah, but LaaaN is off on the way to Imperial Age, already 25% of the way there. Again, that goes to, yeah, he's now slightly behind in villagers, but overall he had more villagers more quickly, so he's able to bank up that food just a little bit more, and we'll see if he can make an early Imperial Age timing work. Villese isn't too far away from him, but it's still going to be around 50%, if not a little bit more difference.
Yeah, that's enough to absolutely decide the game, right?
Oh yeah.
His gold income, let's take a look. Villese has 30 villagers on gold at the moment. On the other side, we have only 16.
But 6 relics.
Little. Oh boy.
6 Aztec relics. That's I think that makes the difference.
Yeah, he's trying to search for more. Didn't find the one at the top here, surprisingly.
Oh, that's a little awkward.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Oh, feels bad, man.
Oh, so close and yet so far.
Eventually, he'll probably like put a farm there or something.
Yeah. It's something you can't miss all game.
Yeah,
Right inside, we have the rush here for the relic. Luckily, an eagle is helping out here for Mr. LaaaN. Kills the monk so that his own monk can grab it up, and then we have basically all relics picked up. And in the end, it will be 8 relics for LaaaN, 3 for Villese. Really nice advantage. LaaaN could even consider camping now.
Oh yeah, like. Well, Villese is going to try and make some big play happen, but LaaaN already has the larger army, and he's going to be having a ton of resources when he hits Imperial Age. He's going to instantly be able to grab Elite Eagle Warrior, and so long as he, can get right back into his position, because indeed he was a little bit out of position, or is he actually going to try and go for the base trade?
Uh-oh, this is tricky.
Oh no, Villese is going to be running back himself, but this is going to be, I think, really, really good for LaaaN. He's far ahead in terms of Imperial Age, and he's far ahead in terms of military, and this is going to be the time, especially if you can destroy all these barracks, that can really snowball things.
Oh yeah, that would probably end the game. If we kill like 2-3 barracks there alone, that would end the game. We don't have the production. At the moment he is ahead in the defense upgrade as well. Now we see the +2 attack on the way for Villese, but that should just be a smashing fight in favor for LaaaN.
Oh yeah, he still has another 13 or so military, gonna have all these Elite Eagle Warriors running right across the map. Kind of weird choke points and units stuttering around, but I think eventually this is just gonna be a super decisive fight for LaaaN. You can see the military difference is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and Villese still not quite yet up to Imp.
Ah, God, that's so painful, trying to buy himself some time, but how can he? Stone wall, palisade wall, all broken. Barracks at the left-hand side going down to 600 HP. He's walling behind it. Nice job there. And is going for some stone walls. That is pretty sweet. But, well, as we said earlier, if he loses all the production, there's no way of coming back into Eagle numbers.
But he's not losing the production yet. Like, look at all these Eagle Warriors. They're, like, stuck. They're not really able to get a whole lot done. Okay, now LaaaN is bringing them back around. should be, I think, targeting the barracks. You don't really want to fight into the choke point where you can't as easily abuse your higher numbers. Now houses being converted, taking over your property.
Yeah, well, free real estate.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, well, then he just deletes the house and can get in, right? Here, left-hand side, that's going to be pretty ugly. Okay, well, he breaks in at the right-hand side anyways. Military count now 86 to 30, OrnLu.
Yeah, this is not going to end well at all for Villese. And it's kind of just a one-unit game. Like we were saying, the only ways that Aztecs can deal with other Eagle Warriors is just Swordsmen and Jaguar Warriors, and they're so slow and hard to get up and running, especially when this is a map that has a ton of gold. Eagle Warriors, a very gold-heavy unit. It's just so easy to make a bajillion Eagle Warriors, you know, give or take 3 or 4.
Oh, well, and LaaaaaN, he just basically needs to select barracks, produce Eagles, and just chill back, and don't take, like, the worst fight in history.
Just patrol across the map, man.
Yeah, that's how Age of Empires works sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it is a game of numbers, and unfortunately, the fact that that Villese is so closed into his base might backfire a little bit because there's no way out.
Yeah, Relic's exposed at the front as well. He is going for the castle in the back. Maybe he can make something happen with Garland Wars, but more Eagles in numbers are just out of control.
Yeah, Blast Furnace is on the way for both players. I guess Villese will get his a little bit first. Supplies coming in, as well as the Men-at-Arm upgrade. So I guess there is going to be a bit of a champion switch here for LaaaaaN. I mean, I guess, you know, you're already super far ahead. It's 96 military to 39. It's kind of like making sure that there's no way possible for your opponent to come back. But yeah, this game should be pretty over as soon as LaaaaaN is able to rush into this base.
Actually, I don't like the champion tech, right? I think it won't matter, but if we think about, okay, what are ways to throw the game? Just take super bad fights against Jaguars. And then champions aren't really helping you too much either with that.
Well, the one thing with Jaguars is that they produce really slowly, especially for an infantry unique unit. I don't know why, but they take like 9 seconds more or so than most other infantry unique units. So with only one castle, it's going to be really hard to get the Jaguar warrior numbers out. Both players actually getting Garland Wars at around the same time, so that should be pretty even.
Yeah, pretty sweet stuff here for sure. And well, Garland Wars, as you can see, now for Mr. Man as well. He's just waiting here. He is basically maxed out. Still didn't get the relic at the top, but look at that. So many blue dots running all around. Even got some eagles in the back here. And Villese, well, he's just holding on with a lot of hope.
A lot of hope, but not a lot of Eagle Warriors. And I'd rather have the Eagle Warriors. Oh no, like, I mean, he's trying his best to, like, screen the movements of these Eagle Warriors for LaaaaaN, but it's just a numbers game at this point. It's 54 Eagle Warriors here versus 41, and that's only a portion of LaaaAN's Eagle Warriors. You just see the mini-map, you just see the blue flood, and now even a forward castle from our blue player to ideally round things up for him.
Yeah, let's see if he can finally take that. Also sees, like, left-hand side, okay, I can't raid you, but it also means you probably didn't expand. Still so much map control. Now takes the big fight. Even if Villese clears this one up, that just means, okay, LaaaAN, we will just wait till he gets another 40-50 Eagles.
Oh yeah, and he's got, what, 6 relics still? No, he found the last one, so yeah. Or no, he got another one.
No, it should be
8, yeah, it's
7 to 3, right?
It's 7-3 with the last one in favor of LaaaAN. But yeah, it's been over for a little bit. That is the GG. Really well done from LaaaAN. Just really able to take those slight advantages, and with the faster Imperial Age, like we were saying from the beginning, that's all it takes.
Yeah, but how did he get into the early advantage there? He did get the monastery, he did get the relics a bit earlier, right? He had 2 relics there in, like, at the 21-minute mark, I would say, while both were just going for eagles.
And he added the extra TCs faster.
Yeah, that might have been it.
And it's not like it was a huge difference in eco, and eventually, you know, Villese got ahead, but it's just down to getting those extra resources that much faster, and then, you know, 50% imp time, like we said, all the difference.
Yeah. So explain. Now, I'll explain to me later. Let's take a look at the statistics first. So KD better for LaaaAN, obviously, with all that in the end.
107 largest army in a 40-minute game.
That's solid. But yeah, we played it pretty passively and not too many kills before that. And at Sex, well, you can get to that military number quite easily.
Oh.
Your screen. Okay.
That's fine.
Doesn't matter.
So yeah. Relic gold, that is a pretty massive differential in favor of LaaaAN. That translates to a lot of Eagle Warriors. You can just see bloosh with all of that extra military coming in. So LaaaN taking the advantage. He dropped game number 1, but it has struck back. Now is on the precipice of winning his first series in this tournament.
So explain to me, on Arena, it makes sense to go 1 TC, double barracks, monastery, siege workshop, and basically who adds eco first dies first.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the player who added eco first win this game?
I think because the rush distance is longer, you have... Because like Arena, you're like so close to each other, right? There's just very little room with which you can work. And the choke points are smaller. Like, remember when Villese was trying to take that that fight with the 2 houses there and was trying to bust in through the TC? There really just wasn't there really just wasn't the angle for Villese when he had just that slight Eagle Warrior advantage in early Castle Age.
What did you say? Could you repeat?
So compared to Arena, there's a lot of there was a lot more choke points. Like the fighting area isn't as open, so LaaaN was able to defend much more easily.
Oh, that must have been so ugly and brutal for you.
I tried, man.
Oh, Gotti.
So what's the next map? It is Arena.
It is Arena. Good.
Yeah.
It can't be at Sex Mirror.
No, it cannot. So Malay Mirror?
Oh.
Lithuanians?
Lithuanian? We'll see about that. Oh, LaaaN's PC just dropped. Feels bad, man. But we weren't even in the game, so not muchos problemos.
That is
He had an Spanish
that is
message there.
There's some Spanish right there.
Let's take a look. Overlay guy.
Oh, what's he doing?
Oh, what's he doing?
Here we can find the overlay guy in his natural habitat, trying to fix the various messes these players cause on a frequent basis.
Dave, the only laugh from the living room.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else is like, okay, just on the things. And Dave is like, I enjoyed this guy so much.
It's so much fun just being here, hanging out with everybody. It's 3rd year in a row for you now. 2nd time I've been here, just being able to hang out, constantly make fun of each other in backseat game. It's what AoE is really about.
yeah, true. At least that's what my Twitch chat is telling me about. At least that I'm reading on the Twitch chat. Okay, so they are jumping into the game again. Villese staying calm. A lot of people get very anxious when the game drops, but he just drinks some air.
Some air.
Yeah.
Or water.
No. It was like he was like going fully.
Maybe it was the last of the water or
Could
something.
someone out of the living room give that poor guy some water?
Yeah.
That looked like really...
Make sure you water their players, otherwise they'll wither.
Yeah. Probably.
I mean, you definitely they're one of those CCs that you can't leave in the sunlight for too long. You have to. It has to be undercover where you grow your AoE 2 players.
Maybe he uses like in real life useless plant remover, and that's why like he doesn't water his plants.
Naturally.
Like, and he's like.
Well, I mean that's clearly overlay guy's job, so.
Yeah.
Clearly it's him slipping up.
Look at Dave coming in.
Oh, it's Dave.
Delivering. Now 6 different people all bringing like. As if it's like Jesus Christ was just born. Like, oh, I bring you water.
I bring you an offering of water. Please don't kill me in the next set.
Oh, Dave going again. Here, 2nd glass of water. They're still talking about it. And oh, actually, that was for LaaaN. Did he just wave or say no more?
I do not know.
I was like, hey.
But look at everybody trying to take care of each other.
Oh, staying hydrated.
Feels good, man. You make sure you stay hydrated when you're gaming, because then you don't feel well after too long.
And we even ban islands.
Yeah, I mean, we can't stay rehydrated in this tournament, so we just have to stay normally hydrated.
Oh, true. Okay, so they're in the game now. If we can take a very close look, we might see. Let's just jump. I had a long discussion with overlay guy yesterday. Like, no, don't go into POVs. We might show something behind the scenes if they go to the best desktop and just chatting with their family. And I'm like, there's no privacy in NAC.
Big Brother is always watching here. As we have the what is it?
Malayos and Britons.
Malayas and just Britons. just Britons.
Just Brit.
Briton.
So Malay against Britons there, and now Overlay is scratching his head like, oh, Malay against Britons, who had what? And well, he's like, oh, so bad. So I will search for Villese here in the game, and then we can jump onto Arena. Any second, Malay for Mr. LaaaaaN. Villese going for Britons. Is that a counter pick or what happened here?
I'm not too sure. I remember I was talking with Hera yesterday, and he thinks that Britons are one of the strongest arena civs, and he did pick it against Viper when he got, battering ram rushed. But it's definitely something that these people, in the tournament are fans of. And of course, you do have a very, very strong boom, strong Castle Age, and you can make stuff happen in Imperial Age, but not too sure why I wouldn't see them over, say, Byzantines or Lithuanians.
Oh, God.
Okay, Mr. Overlay guy. We have LaaaaaN as the Malay and Villese as the Britons.
Oh, Malayos.
Malayos.
Malayos. Okay, so, Arena. I personally don't like the first 10 minutes. I wanted to do Empire Wars. The format, where you start in feudal age, ideally, with like 20 villagers, and the action really starts. But it kind of feels like it destroys the game feeling a bit as well. And well, I know that T90 said like Arena is my favorite map. There's like 12 minutes, nothing going on, and I can only talk about stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, like I think literally one of the first commands I made on my stream was like Arena Dark. For Arena Dark Age is just Resident Sleeper. A little bit of a scuffle here. And that is actually something that's quite relevant on Arena, as being able to snipe monks in Castle Age can be a very important thing, but right now it's just LaaaaaN on the Run. It's in my new album title, is LaaaaaN on the Run.
Okay. Well, I will buy that remix for sure.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. But yeah, Scout's just going to be making it back just in time. It's definitely very relevant to talk about the maps, though. Secondary gold really close to the TC of LaaaaaN. That's going to feel quite nice. Then on top of that, you have stone in the back. Overall, I think it's a pretty good map here for LaaaaaN. Villese, meanwhile, it is technically fully walled, but it's not quite as much space to work with, and it seems like all of his resources are fairly far forward.
Oh, the guy just saying us we have POV. Okay, do we want to show like POV in Dark Age of players?
Let's see their blistering APM as they.
Look at that, pushing deer, building a mill.
Man.
Oh, Overlay guy is nodding like nice.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what they were doing.
So intense.
Holy moly.
Scouting the back of the base.
Oh no, don't tell me. And now scratching his head. What is happening there? LaaaaaN? Did he just screw up something?
What is that? What is that sound?
You mean the screaming person outside?
Oh,
Maybe you closed the window. We have a kindergarten next to NAC, so OrnLu push like a man.
Upper body strength.
God. Every screen was shaking here.
Oh, sorry.
Moly.
My power was just too great.
What is LaaaaaN doing? He's not using his hand.
I mean, it's Arena Dark Age. You don't need hotkeys.
Okay. He's playing like with 10 APM at the moment.
I mean, he must have been watching John Slow's stream on how to play Arena.
Yeah. Look at how annoyed he is of the game. Like, Nili makes me play that early on day, and then we got Arena. Did he have his own home map? Look at that, he's even looking at the score and he's getting annoyed, like, oh, I'm already behind 100 points.
But like,
look at that, that's just, oh no, he's lefty. He's lefty. At least he's a lefty.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, like, what is he? He's scratching himself more than he's actually playing.
It is, I mean, I don't see any problems in his build order or anything.
No.
No, he's, like, I think he's doing just fine, but in case
he's so annoyed!
I know, it's just Arena things, man.
It won't take long until you take the book out. Like, I wanted to read on that chapter again.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, the thing with Arena is that you could try doing Empire Wars, but the reason people like Arena is because you have the very sort of set meta of, like, okay, you have the Dark Age stuff, and then you go for... You know, if you're feeling YOLO, you can go for towers, then you go like Monk War or Scouts or something, and Empire Wars would kind of mess with that, and that kind of, you know, people play Arena for that reason.
Villese has 3 times the APM here. Like just clicking everything,
like
pushing
60.
the... Oh. Okay, so where are his cubes positioned? I see the main cube spot is pretty nicely. The other cube spot and third cube spot more in the left-hand side direction. And, well, he over-queued here at the right-hand side.
Overqueued?
Over-queued? I tried to make like, yeah, he buried something. It's not easy. On the next time I will prepare the puns, and then we can go on it reasonably well.
You know, it's A for effort.
A for effort.
There you go. But, you know...
Isn't effort written with an E?
Well,
okay, moving on.
So Deer actually not being taken by LaaaN, interestingly. So, I mean, I guess with Malay, you can do the whole thing where you go for the, like, 20... Oh, never mind. You can go for the 22-pot Feudal Age. Didn't even see that he was doing exactly that. So, there we go. So, we can go for fast Feudal Age, still make a bunch of villagers, get, like, even Wheelbarrow, and then click up to Castle Age and be, like, 1 minute behind your opponent. And with, like, you know, a bunch more villagers. That's why Malay are, alongside Aztecs, considered top-tier arena, maybe Lithuanians.
Yeah, that's the special build. Kind of only works with Malay. Some people in the very old days did it with Persians when you only had the TC bonus in Feudal Age. So you just get up super quickly using the 66% fast, like, advancing to perfection. And
you can do it with Cumans as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've played a few games on Arena just to like see how good Cumans are with like the extra TC and stuff, and you can get a very good boom, but kind of like with RF, you get to your opponent gets to Castle Age really quickly, so they're not as Cumans aren't as ahead as you might think.
Yeah, that's true. And you also, like, the counter against this super greedy build is a fast caster push, something that won't work against Malay too well, because they will get up to Castle Age also, like, at minute 18.
Yeah, you know, something around that ballpark. And Malay do have very good monks. I mean, at least in the Castle Age. So,
so intense. House building.
You have Redemption, so you can defend against a lot of Mangonels and Atonement as well, obviously.
Villese, on his side, he is going for an Archer build-up. Probably followed up by some Crossmen, only 3 farms at the moment, heavily going on those red blocks here. And, well, 4 villagers on gold will drop the archer range. I think, honestly, against this build-up from Malay, something like a Siege Tower hop could be something really sexy.
I was thinking just that. It used to be in vogue for a little while to go for the Siege Tower play with certain civs, and the Britons would be one of those civs, you know, being the Archer civ and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, if your opponent's in Feudal Age for even a little bit longer, it's going to be kind of hard. You're going to have to rush up the Siege Workshop and then get the Mangonel, and if your opponent can sneak in at the right angle with some crossbowmen, that could be pretty sick. LaaaN, though, with these houses, is kind of working towards a very good, like, contingency wall to deal with the crossbowmen.
Yay.
Something weird is happening. I don't know, he finished the wood upgrade, Villese, and is sitting at 720 food. Now he needs to do loom.
Oh,
he
that's
did
odd.
2 villagers and loom. That's somewhat of a misplay. If he just does the wood upgrade a bit later, he's already up to Castle Age.
Yeah, and your Britons, it's like, you don't need the wood for, like, that much extra wood for TCs, because they're so cheap.
It's a 4-stroke twice.
Yeah, that's a little not so pretty.
Well, happens.
It's not going to be, like, the end of the world at all. Anyway, Market Blacksmith play here for LaaaN. Malay can do pretty much anything on Arena, and I think Scout opening is certainly a possibility if you expect a lot of monks. That is not likely going to be the case when you're up against Britons. So I think maybe just trying to get up to Castle Age, boom, and then get some Mangonels out defensively should be a pretty good option.
Defensive Mangonels against Britons, I'm not getting too excited by that. What I'm getting excited at is how he built his buildings here. Look at that, market, blacksmith, all the houses kind of falling or building a pretty nice second wall here.
Yeah, I said that like a minute and a half ago.
Sorry, you're the good caster.
Oh, no, that's always you, man. But Castle Age times, it's kind of hard to tell with Malay because they, you know, research it so much more quickly, but I think they should be pretty similar. But you just see that our blue player has 5 more villagers, and that is just a massive difference. You think how popular Chinese are these days with just 1.5 extra villagers most of the time, and having 5 extra villagers when you hit Castle Age is just so huge.
Yeah. And if you consider how popular Chinese are nowadays, with only 1 villager ahead.
Oh.
Close. Okay, so now 10% difference here. Still no aggressive villager. I thought if he wanted to plan this with Loom, then could have made sense to send the villager out, but, well, we won't really see that. Carthage now, do we see Siege Workshop, do we see the extra TCs? 600 wood, 1 extra TC, and 2 extra TCs. So it's more of the boom approach with some map control. Villese is fine with playing the long game here.
That I find a little bit strange going up against Malay, because Britain's, I mean, it's not a horrible late game, but Malay would theoretically just completely swamp you with karambits and skirmishers and whatnot, and I don't really see how Britons could ever deal with that, because the archers would just deal so much overkill to each individual karambit. And that's why, like, karambits, I feel in general are pretty good against archers, especially since you lack thumb ring. So even if you just don't even, like, try and focus them and you just go for the straight-up shootout, they're going to be firing more slowly.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit problematic with all the karambits. I thought the composition would be a bit around it, like more in the skirmisher bombard cannon direction, but, well, mass karambits might absolutely be on the cards here. And
well, I think you would want to add in skirmishers and bombard cannons and stuff, especially because you don't want to get into a Treb war versus the Britons in the late game with Warwolf, the only civ to have 100% accurate trebuchets.
Like, is Warwolf really the unit that, or like traps with Warwolf really the unit you want to go for? Because I feel like, do we ever get into like the stalemate-y scenario against Malay? I feel like they aren't like super mobile, but still more mobile than you.
Malay are more mobile, but Arena and Britons are very much like, you know, you push forward, apply directly to the forehead type of map, and you just have one big push down the middle. And that's I mean, the Britons are good at that. I mean, that's why Britons are being picked so frequently. So we still, I think, might get into a Treb war scenario, but as the game develops, Scorpion defensively here for Mr. LaaaaaN, really like that. It's going to serve better than the Mangonel against the low numbers of crossbowmen, but regardless, not a whole lot going on. Just random monk dying.
Random monk dying. Okay, actually that was my favorite monk of the game so far, so not that random monk to me. And, well, second monk that I don't like that much is coming over now as well. And relic positioning actually pretty good for Villese. If we see that 4 relics more in his favor, LaaaaaN has 1 at the front here.
Relics spell a W.
Not a single gate in the direction of the relic here.
Yeah, LaaaaaN only has 1 gate. It's a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just build another gate. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, both players just booming away. LaaaaaN just going to be consistently with that 5 to 6 villager advantage. Not going to be the end of the world, I think. And it's going to be, I think, a pretty passive game. It's just going to be a matter of how many relics each player can get. The one thing that I do really like about Malay in a 1v1 is they are so not gold reliant compared to most civs. Like, you can make the most happen with very little gold. Like, you spend some gold on arbalests or bombard cannons or something, but then like skirmishers, karambits, trash swordsman, it's also good.
Yeah, that's true. Light cav not really an option that matchup, or like in general pretty bad. And yeah, you advised LaaaaaN to build a gate at the front, and he did listen. Now wants to move out. Those 3 scorpions can easily mop up those 5 crossmen. For one moment I thought LaaaaaN might end up with 0 relics. I think now he has a shot for 2.
Yep, I think that is definitely a possibility. Crossbowmen have 0 upgrades, so the scorpions will even be outranging them. And monks here as well, and yeah, the crossbowmen are going to be forced to retreat for the time being. Defensive siege workshop at home, I guess, to make a safety mangonel should he need one. But I'm interested to see, okay, is there going to be a 4th TC? Is there going to be a faster Imperial Age? What's going to be the next step for these players? Because right now, as it stands, LaaaaaN is just ahead. Like, he's 10 villagers ahead right now.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, right? And Villese, well, his resources aren't looking that much better. Monks are healing a bit, and suddenly LaaaaaN with only 3 scorpions got the map control. I think it's just the army composition that we kind of expected from Villese, right? Just mass arbalest, and does he feel happy with the 2 relics that he got? 1 still on the open here.
Yeah, there's 1 relic that's like right next to the walls of Villese. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised even if he deleted a segment of wall and just tried to sneak in with the monk to get the relic. Scorpions are on standby though, so LaaaaaN's going to try and deny that if possible. Barracks being built a little bit forward by LaaaaaN, who's just grabbing 2 relics of his own. So right now, if there is going to be a relic differential, it will only be by 1 in this game.
Yeah, let's go. Monk going down, the crossbowman eating some damage there against the scorpions, trying to get away here. Mangonel now trying to revenge them. Solid connection. Scorpions need to retreat.
Indeed they do. Scorpions are terrible versus Mangonels, and yeah, they will die in just the one hit, and that is 2 Scorpions down already. The third one is actually getting quite low, and will also end up dying. So that's not really the greatest thing in the world for LaaaaaN.
Ooh, lose a lot of HP on those crossbowmen against the Mangonel. Will he? Yeah, he will retreat. I'm still surprised how long he's staying in this fight without fletching. But well, he prioritized Imp maybe.
And yet, LaaaaaN is the first one to click up to him.
Yeah, he'll click up and he will fly faster.
Oh yeah.
So
Hashtag just melee things.
yeah, so 50%
Les will be able to
later.
snag the last relic though.
Yay.
Yeah, okay. So nice advantage there, and or like 3-2. It's not the biggest thing, and as you mentioned earlier, melee probably pretty close there. And oh, look at that! Some spearmen added now. What? Why?
Okay. I don't get it. Villagers coming forward. What are the resources of LaaaaaN as far as castle dropping goes? And he is going to be doing that just in the middle of the map. I don't know why the spearmen are there, but
Maybe land fear the light cav or slash scout switch. Because he had only monks and mangonels or scorpions. Some knights would have been incredibly good against that, like at least to snipe the siege, and the scouts to snipe the monks. And well, 3 spearmen alone doing such a good job of protecting them. But I still felt that's not really the composition he wants to go for in the long run, unless he wants to surprise us.
I mean, 4 spearmen, it's not like the biggest investment in the world. Onager is on the way, actually. That's going to be good versus Britons, obviously. And there's only the fletching upgrade, and again, kind of like in the last game, the production buildings are being targeted and focused down. The economies are safer and larger in this game compared to the Graveyards game, but still, this could be a big momentum shift in favor of LaaaaaN.
He's building such a defensive castle, and indeed, as you said, production is going down again. He could have built that more defensively here, would have not been a big problem for him. And, well, he has the military lead. There's going to be a big push in his face, though.
It is indeed. We have Onager just about to be completed. Oh, Mangonel.
Got the shot off.
Nicely done there for Villese. But still, archery range is starting to get focused down, and I guess it's just going to be a matter of can just a bajillion Arbalests snipe all of these Onagers?
I think they should, right?
Yeah,
Shouldn't it
they
be like
should.
10 range against 8 range?
That will be the case. Unless you pull a Viper and get a Yeoman, like, super fast.
He is building the castle now. It is very defensively, and I don't think he can do too much with his trap, so it might be an option. Onager with a good connection here. Crossman now moving in, 10 range for them, getting Arbalest upgrade now, and getting the kill in. Well, okay.
Yeah, definitely okay, indeed. And the thing is, there isn't much meat to the army of LaaaaaN just yet. It looks like he's building the archery ranges for some elite skirmishers. He actually has some of those on the way already. So Onager plus skirmisher, kind of what you were talking about, and I think that is certainly going to be a viable approach here in early Imp.
Onager shots, yeah, they can't really work, right? It's just, like, I'm not even sure how to approach this. Like, Onagers, you kind of pray that your opponent is messing up.
Yeah, which is why I liked the Karambit play more, just because you're not, or like at least Mass Skirmisher or something, because you're just not relying on, you know, getting a big lucky hit off. Because as you're saying, like, you shouldn't really, as the Briton player, be taking huge shots when you have 2 additional range.
Yeah, but also forcing him into always looking into his army means you can macro a bit more, you can production, you can get your production rolling a bit easier. So yeah, maybe it's just getting the clicks away from your opponent. But now, oh god, those are some solid villager kills. Onagers are getting sniped down again. Villese so far on point.
Yep, and is getting a unique tech. Which one is it, actually?
The Imp tech, because it's gold.
Oh, yeah.
So there has to be Warwolf.
Yeah. Good old OrnLu, a werewolf. Yeah, so in case you guys don't know what that does, it makes your trebs 100% accurate, just like Huns, and it gives your trebuchets blast damage, which is actually really, really insane if your opponent's making a lot of skirmishers and onagers. So I actually really like this play.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I thought he couldn't really get onto his numbers. He just needs to continuously use his castle and get more traps out there. Now finished it. We can maybe see the splash damage there. At the moment he is housed. Cannot increase his army numbers, but still feels like moving out is a good idea.
Yeah, certainly. And there is only, I believe, one castle here for LaaaN, so if that castle gets sniped, that's going to be super good. Villese actually has the stone for a second castle himself. And
builds it very aggressively. I'm not sure if I like that too much. The traps are already out there. Oh yeah, and he thinks better of it.
yeah, that definitely was not going to happen. Big fight here, likely about to happen. Onager, or Mangonel rather, gets an okay-ish hit. Onager trying to come in here for LaaaN. Force retreat by the Arbalest, but you can see that LaaaN should be winning the Treb War very decisively. Just literally never missing. But the Onager, you don't bring an Onager to a Treb fight, man.
Oh, he did get some solid kills for sure. Those are some Arbalest, but stumping against skirmishes would be so nice. Now he is adding up skirmishes on his own, but oh boy, those are losses, and that's gold that he will never get back.
Not at all, but both of the Trebs have gone down for LaaaN. There is still this one Trebuchet alive for Villese. It's just the Arbalests are not being cost efficient right now. Okay, another Mangonel comes in, but now an Onager of LaaaN is taking down the Trebuchet. Yeah, I feel like LaaaN is going to be so much more cost efficient here as this drags on.
Yeah, it feels like it. He is, well, having still the nice forward base. Also, well, staying kind of active. Villese is not moving out, taking his second stone on third gold here. And, well, it just feels like maybe an Onager addition from Villese would have been so good. But technically, like, mass traps are the perfect answer.
Yeah, I mean, that, in theory, that would be correct. Because there's only so much you can do against like a bunch of Warwolf Trebs unless you throw your Trebs away.
That's ugly, and the Onager gets a good hit as well.
But still, Onager was taken down as well as a few skirmishers.
Let's take a look at the POVs of the guys. So, more farms in the back here by Villese, and LaaaN, he is really focused there. Gets some chemistry, still doesn't have Loom as we saw, no handcart either, no town watch, needs some more houses, and, well, skirmishes taking a reasonable fight, but he has to face all those traps. His castle is now getting dangerously low.
Yeah, and that's definitely not what you want, because again, I think he still only has the one castle, which, well, if you can't produce any trebuchets, you're then going to be relying on bombard cannons. Yes, you have chemistry, but it's going to be a big shift in momentum. But oh! That was a big Warwolf Treb hit. And there is another one taking out an Onager. I love me some Warwolf, man.
Yeah, they're so good. And, well, skirmishers are diving in, trying to decimate the numbers here of the Arbalest, but the traps are moving forward, and it just feels like Villese now, with double the military, is pushing this quite nicely.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. The Arbalests, I guess, aren't being super gold efficient, but as long as he's, you know, he still has 25 gold miners, he's fine for the time being. And the Warwolf Trebs are just so good. I think you may need to go for some bombard cannons if you're LaaaN to try and snipe them more easily.
Ah, but bombard cannons, honestly, against 10 range Arbalest.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty tricky.
Yeah, Britain seems to be a really good pick against Liereyy at the moment.
Unless your opponent was holding you with a million Karambit Warriors and you couldn't make anything to stop you.
Maybe the caster knows better than the player.
Only every once in a while. Only because I think longboats are good.
Okay, so handcart finally here. We have skirmishes and conscription, so LaaaN indeed got a second castle. Oh, to control the site here. But honestly, that castle will instantly fall. That's really surprising to me. I think the traps can easily go over and get a kill there. Meanwhile, through the center, skirms in the front by Villese, Arbalest behind this. It feels like we might go to distance here.
We might indeed. I thought this would be a pretty close series between these guys, and that is indeed the case so far. LaaaN is just really struggling to come up with an answer to the Trebs plus Arbalest. It's like, you just can't even get a hit in. Like, that's always the problem against Britons. It's just like, how do you even touch them when you're just being outranged so heavily in every way?
Can't touch this.
Did I miss a beat?
I think so.
Okay. Feels nearly, man. Okay, so now the castle will instantly go down, maybe after getting one trap out and conscription, but that's it. Didn't even kill a single villager on the stone here. Might get something done, but that just feels like a big waste. Didn't get him too much map control. Now we have Villese pushing through the center. Extra gold spots, as I did show earlier, completely untouched by either player.
Yep, but LaaaN has plenty of gold in the bank. Like I said, Malay aren't really the gold-intensive civilization. And look at Villese, he's actually banking up a decent amount already. He can make a switch if he needs to, but if don't break what's working, right?
Yeah. Okay, now we have the switch into bombard cannon. Something we wanted to see, but also questioned.
It's like you have to go for it, but you don't feel good about it. Also, siege engineers.
We don't have ballistics. Oh god, it just felt like why is he missing so many shots?
Well, that is a good reason why. But also, siege engineers coming in is not only are the traps going to be really quick in taking down these buildings, but you can just get that little bit of extra range and...
Oh, one trap charged over, one trap charged over. I will go for the skirms. Now so many more. That looks like the Death Star now just going over here and BAM! Are we getting in there? And that's like 5-6 skirmishes going down there with the 2 trap shots. Pretty solid stuff.
Yeah, and normally I think about werewolf traps being super good in a written mirror, just because you end up making a bunch of skirmishers and siege units and stuff. But when your opponent is just going for like mass skirmishers and a few siege units themselves, well, they're always werewolf traps are always going to be really good. Bombard cannons are now out, but with these many 10 range arbalists, 43 of them for Villese, that's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how you can even approach this. I think skirmishers, bombard cannon might be the right option. Left-hand side castle, well, Villese wanted to control the gold there. Let's take a look. Arbalists are now moving in, maybe just sniping the bombard cannon. 1 down. Arbalists are diving in deep. And oh yeah, I completely missed that. Nice shots in the back.
Yeah, of course the arbalists being bunched up, bomber cannons deal a little bit of splash damage, but if you're all on top of each other, that's going to be quite good. Castle now getting a little bit low, but it's just so easy to snipe those bombard cannons with the power of Britain arbalists.
And suddenly from 3 we're down now to 0, the most expensive unit in the game, and well, kind of what he needed for the defense. Now I see elite longbow tech. That's so surprising to me.
Those are some style points right there. The thing with longbows is that they're just like a better version of arbalests that are harder to get going. I mean, technically they're a little bit less accurate, but that's not really ever a big deal. So this is just like the long-term transition to get that real power unit for Britons.
And suddenly he has 3
Also
castles
Loom.
as well, so he... Oh man, yeah, but yeah, Villese is just too aware. He can't get any connections against the Arbalest. Maybe something against the traps here. 1 down, second one. Well, we'll get a volley, but just a repair behind this, and it wasn't worth it in the end. Unless this suicide onager could do something.
No, a little bit unfortunate right there. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like slowly but steadily, Villese is grinding down land. I mean, also, I really like how Villese is doing a nice job keeping his skirmishers in the front, so they're the ones taking all of the damage, and this, you know, expensive massive arbalests is not dipping below 40 at all. Like, it's being very efficient here now, and you can just see him just banking up so many resources.
God, it's brutal. KD, actually relatively close. Onager there, got it, solid shot in.
It's just like, okay, they killed 10 units, now you're only down by 50.
Yeah. look at that, castles are full with the production here, more longbows are now coming over, and well, if you clear up an army of your opponent and you replace it with a stronger army, not great for your mindset.
That's truly facing the Hydra right there. You know, you cut off 1 head and 2 sprout from its place.
Oh man, and yeah, number not that high. We are at 5 at the moment, but oh boy, they look stylish.
Oh yeah, they are, if nothing else, some cool unit. And that's really the most important thing. Oh, that's a good onager hit, but you're still down by 40 military.
How did that happen? Yeah, it's like so risky to always stay close to the siege workshop. You might actually argue that killing the siege workshop before the castle might have been the better choice.
Possibly. I mean, because the siege workshops, in addition to onagers, make bombard cannons, which are likely more threatening to your trebuchets than your opponent's trebuchets. But still, it just doesn't matter. Land has so many villagers, but he's not able to make an army that can fight this whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just wasting skirmishes at the moment. His KD is somewhat reasonable. He's still kind of cost efficient when it comes to gold, but I don't really see a win condition for him.
No, because he's never able to spend our army on, or any gold on like a good army. Like, well, he's just making a few occasional siege units, but in an Imperial Age, you know, arena game, you need to have a power gold unit, and that was never a thing. Which is why I keep saying the Karambits, because they are technically a gold unit, even if they don't cost much. So, but right now, bombard cannons and skirmishers is the last defense here for Mr. Land.
Let's take a look over his shoulder what he is up to. And he is like a lot of unit there apparently. And well, tries to still defend with the skirmishes. And well, now the Ram go at the bottom there. Oh god, there's just so much army coming. He is trying to get a lot of production behind, but honestly, always getting outraged isn't really.
Definitely not. But Bombard Cannon's getting some decent shots off. But the thing is, Villese is fine having way less villagers than his opponent. It's always going to give him the larger army. And as soon as these Werewolf Trebs start targeting the skirmishers, they're going to be going down quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. Okay, more shots against the houses though. And we see the big connections. 2 more arrows or balls flying in. And yeah, Skirms dying in the back. Bombard Cannons are trying to get repaired. But it just feels like Villese army is absolutely unstoppable. Also military count.
Yeah, like almost 90 military. It's kind of the opposite of last game where Villese wasn't able to match LaaaN's military power. Same thing in favor of Villese this game. And yeah, I mean, yes, LaaaN is at 193 pop, but so many more villagers that are not going to be able to make enough skirmishers with that amount of space.
Funnily enough, LaaaN has some gold here at the site.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't even scouted by Villese, so he's not punishing him for it, but look at that, all the Arbalest, longbows in the back, Bombard Cannons trying to make something happen, 2 at the top there. I like the Rams at the buffer, and I'm actually surprised how close the KD is. It just feels like Villese is always killing like 10-15 skirmishes of LaaaN one after another.
Yeah, and it's just, there is no real situation here where LaaaN is like closing the military gap in terms of, you know, numbers. Though the one thing that must be said about Britons is that they're really, really slow in finishing a game. And yeah, like you just kind of have to slowly wait for your trebuchets to kill everything and your longbows and whatever to do the damage from range. But now we have 27 elite longbows here for our red player, and they're real good, and the skirmishers are dying.
Skirmish still in front, and bam! Look at that connection. 4 or 5 skirmishes dying there, and look at that, they're just trying to join the party, try to go over their friends. Now they got like 10 arrows in their back.
Yeah, that's what you get for being a coward.
146 villager, also way too much there, and yeah, just not too pretty when it comes trying to fight back. Like that's something you learn very early if you play Britons and deathmatch, where you start with endless amount of resources in Imperial Age. Then you know, okay, if I build like 120 villagers, I never can win against another Briton player because my army count is just so low. That's what kind of LaaaN is facing here as well.
If you think about it, LaaaN might as well be playing Britons. Like, other than a few bombard cannons, what aspect of like the Malay military is he really taking advantage of? Just elite skirmishers and onagers that his opponent can do, but like just better.
Yeah, faster working there, the longbows in the back, the traps. The thing is, LaaaN always keeps his population up, and he, is measuring pretty nicely behind it. It just feels like he doesn't have the answer when it comes to the army composition.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying, LaaaN is never catching up in the military discrepancy. Like, they just keep on trading, but LaaaN is just keeps on losing ground, and eventually you just won't have any left, although he's still mining gold on the right-hand side.
Let's go into a scenario where we have an endless map, and LaaaN and Villese keep trading like this. When would Villese run out of gold?
Villese will run out of gold when, you know, the map runs out of gold and he's reliant on 2 relics, and maybe eventually like a bajillion skirmishers can clean up the longbowmen, but even then, you'd think that the Briton skirmishers would be able to kill the Malay skirmishers with the extra range, and the Werewolf Trebs if you can keep them alive and just, you know, use the market if need be. Still should be pretty good here for Villese, right?
Yeah, obviously. I'm just thinking about like what LaaaN's thoughts are to stay in this game, because like he is up to 1. Honestly, he's not taking a good fight in the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and he doesn't have an answer. The army of your opponent is getting stronger and stronger, so his goal kind of has to be, okay, I'm trading my non-gold army against your gold army, and at one point you can't really replace your army, but that's not really the case.
It's not really the case, and it's going to be...
Resources of Villese.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be such a long time before that happens. And the thing is, you are slowly but steadily getting pushed back. We do actually see two-handed swordsmen on the way here for LaaaN. I would assume that at this point he would have forced levy. But turns out two-handed swordsmen are pretty bad against longbowmen.
And against that amount of longbowmen, look at that.
60 long... Actually, probably more than 60 longbowmen, because 60 is the most you can have in the selection group.
Okay, let's take a look. They're trying to fight down the Rams, and they do 1 damage per shot, but it's still enough to save the Rams. Oh god, it feels a bit like Lord of the Rings, like, look, Legolas, take him down. The Ram is diving in there and gets 1 hit off. But that's not enough.
That is not enough, and now it's Legolas multiplied by like 65.
Oh man, yeah, skirmishers are now diving in, still
Relics
feeling
now,
okay, this is good,
ungarrisoned.
but I think LaaaN will realize, okay, I'm dropping below 460, now you have light cap as well to kill my skirms. GG, well played. Villese is taking it to distance.
And what did we say in the very beginning of this series? If each player is, you know, winning their home maps and whatnot, then let's go down to Arabia. Actually, come to think of it, they did win each other's home maps. One of them, right?
LaaaN, so was Malay Arena, so yeah, TaToH.
Yeah. But still, close series between the two. A lot of different maps, a lot of different play styles we're seeing. Been definitely a very interesting series so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, we are at mine.
Oh.
Why don't we have my cursor? Weird. Okay, so score looks pretty good for Villese. KD in the end really snowballed. Wasn't it like 280 to 240? And suddenly he gets 200 kills and you only get 100 kill here out of the position of Mr. LaaaN. And buildings rate just brutally in favor of Villese as well.
Yeah, definitely. Also collecting a good 6k more gold sounds good to me. And you just weren't able to get to the skirmisher numbers that you really needed to. And just eventually Villese was able to steamroll through LaaaN. We're going to game 5, which is on Medi.
Oh yeah. Did you know that it was Medi before you started the sentence?
I was looking at the thing over here.
Okay. Because it felt like you had like an inner drum roll, like, and we're going into Medi.
Oh, no. I just looked at the
No.
scene on the third PC.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I know. I should have just rolled with it and looked super cool, but oh well.
So Graveyards indeed was lost by Villese there as well. We are taking a look over the shoulders. So Persians for Villese is what we will see, and LaaaN is going for Persians as well.
A lot of
so
mirror
will be a
matches.
mirror there, and I can ask you a long question, or you will just try to monologue on your own.
Oh, okay. So I will be monologuing now. Looks like they are actually in the game, so if need be, we can go over to my PC. Anyway, jumping into the game, Persian mirror on Medi, not too surprising. Persian's such a popular civ on the map now. And looks like we are on my POV, which is totally fine. And over here in the left-ish of the map, losing the last game, but still 1 game away from winning the series, it is LaaaN as the Persians. And his opponent winning the last game, also 1 game away from winning the series, is Villese as the Red Persians. And Nili, the most important question of all when it comes to Mediterranean, what does the water? Shark?
That's shark. Swimming to the bottom left.
Oh, it's like a hammerhead shark,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Oh, I totally...
I thought I didn't need to specify.
Oh, I mean, it is hashtag clearly a hammerhead shark.
Yeah. I was muted? It was muted by you.
Overlay guy.
I'm already muting myself and he even overmutes me.
Feels bad, man. But
Overlay, overmute.
but look at this. We have Villese doing the same thing that TheMax was doing with Persians on this map, going for the insta-nomad style dock.
Yeah, and actually we had that yesterday on the couch as well, and people said like, "Oh, he stole that strategy from me," and no, I played it first.
Wasn't that Viper who said that?
Yeah, it makes 0 sense. Like people only playing this game for 6 years and saying like, "I invented a dog start with Persians." It has been around since 2002.
Yeah, it's like, and it's literally the meta on Nomad, where Persians are one of the most popular civs and have been for 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's still something that you can go for. Is it like objectively better, do you think? Or do you think that there's a trade-off for going for this?
My rule of thumb in the old days was I do it if I have 4 stragglers, but nowadays I think we always have more stragglers to go for 2 fishing ships and have a kind of uninterrupted start. And I think it is better, but only slightly, and it is a bit more risky because if your distance to the water is just long, like the bean case,
The famous bean map.
then I think your start isn't that pretty. And I think Villese start won't be that much more better in my opinion as well because the distance was so long.
Yeah, it seems like you're right. It's like, okay, it's an advantage maybe by like a few percentage points. So it's not going to be the biggest of deals. I think largely we're going to be seeing a mirror. Big fight for the water. You can see that these players are very, very close. Likely, wait, villager. The Woman is not doing so, getting attacked by the scout. There's, of course, the scout of land there to help protect her, but it's going to delay the dock just a little bit. Probably won't be too big of a deal.
You protect. Okay, Villese now with the big score advantage here because he got so much scouting off, but, well, needs to flee, so both will get the same scouting points now in the future. 5 on wood here for LaaaN. On the other side, Villese is playing it 4 on his lumber camp, 2 still at home. Now builds another house, and, well, if we want to judge the start now, I would say slight advantage for Villese because he has the fishing ship out.
Yep, just a little bit of that edge, like just over seems a 1 worker unit ahead, but it shouldn't be, I think, too big of a deal. It's going to, feudal age times are going to be very important. I do think this is likely going to at least be at the start a big water fight, and then maybe some transporting shenanigans and stuff like that later. The thing with the Persian mirror on water is it's actually really hard to like finish off your opponent's docks because they just have so much HP, especially like if they're only fire ships attacking, doing 1 damage, so it's kind of weird how it goes on water with this mirror.
Yeah, we will see how it plays out. Land attack, obviously a bit more tricky on this one. It feels like LaaaN should have really easy walls, at least to the left-hand side, using the cliff and the wood line there, indeed. And right-hand side, well, we have that short wall there as well.
Yep, pretty easy. Oh wait, we're still in my POV. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do this like clicking stuff where the walls are instinctively. Yeah. Oh man, but still, feudal age time going to be a little bit in favor of Villese, I guess, reflecting that slightly better start for him. LaaaN actually is pretty far away. Oh no, never mind. Turns out villagers can carry a lot of meat on their boar. But a little bit awkward.
Okay.
That's a 30% difference.
And that's a clear win for Villese now on water, if we get to it. Also has to walk quite some distance to get to the water now. And, well, only 1 lumber camp for now. Sends 6 villagers over. Goes for the interesting gold. The smaller gold more towards the docks and woodline instead of the gold a bit further down. And I was talking about the other player. But yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
It actually is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whoops. Thankfully, the game made me not do something completely embarrassing. Then. Anyway, second dock on the way here for Villese. Second dock on the way here for LaaaN. But everything that Villese is doing is just a little bit more streamlined, and a map that is this aggressive, that can be all the difference. However, he is just taking from those shore fish, just now sending these fishing ships off to deeper fish.
LaaaN only with 4 on gold. That might bite him later. I think that's a bit too few villagers. And he might get some troubles there. Obviously, it's good to have more wood at the start to get the 3rd dock up out a bit earlier. Villager now of Villese, a bit more to the south of the screen. Well, it's getting harassed, but yeah, scout around. Protection again.
There is the scout protection. Very much smart on this map. You don't want to get that villager sniped. And it's like a little bit of a tag team there. With Persians, do you want to just put more villagers on gold more quickly because you have the faster working docks, so maybe you can't afford triple dock production as quickly?
I'm not sure. I just feel like 4 can't be the right number. It has to be 5, and some people even consider 6 there, added a bit later. But now we see the first engagement here at the front, and LaaaN just so much later.
Yeah, and this is what we always say on water maps. Your early game build order optimization is so critical. He doesn't even have a 3rd dock on the way yet. Actually, Villese doesn't either, but still, the fishing or the fire ships are just slower, and it's just going to keep on piling on unless you can make some good maybe demo ship trades.
We'll see about that now. Oh god, 2 fishing ships idle against 4 working at the same time. It's going to be tricky, and we have a small pause here. And oh no! No, that should never happen.
What happened?
Look at this guy. He's trying to set a hotkey.
Oh no!
Oh.
What is it? Fire ship?
Oh.
Fire galley?
No idea. Group of Quadro. Oh. Well, he doesn't even know what he wants to do. And cancel doesn't work. Now he will press cancel 3 times and will be really confused. Okay, just was confirmed. Look at that. Cancel doesn't work with the cancel. And he clicks cancel. Okay, now confirms.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back and do it. Okay.
Oh, we're now switched to your POV, I think.
Oh, OrnLu, if you want yours?
I mean, I don't care.
Okay, then we go for yours if you want to.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
What's happening, OrnLu? Tell me.
Okay, so third dock from LaaaaaN is just about done. I don't think these are... Okay, I think those are demo rafts on the way. Still only the 2 docks, interestingly, for Villese, so theoretically LaaaaaN might be able to catch up on the water. It's only 4-3 in favor of our red player, and the biggest problem for him is that these fishing ships are idle and or sinking. Oh!
He deleted it. What did he do? He deleted his dock.
What, that was... Oh, that wasn't... Yeah, there's no way...
He wanted to delete the demo and clicked on the dock. What happened there? And you were talking about like, oh, he can play 3 docks against 2 docks. No. If you delete the dock, it's only 2 against 2 docks, OrnLu.
No.
What is this fail game? Doesn't have the hotkey, now deletes the dock.
Oh, no, and Villese is just coolly repairing his injured fire galleys. He's 2 villagers ahead. In comes another demo raft, but that'll actually get a good shot off.
Oh yeah, oh, great connection there for sure. And well, those fishing ships are now really exposed here by Mr. Villese. And well, nothing really happening on land, so we don't need to look at that.
7-3 military though.
Well, if you delete half your production, it's tricky to catch up.
But Villese is still only on 2 docks, and you know, LaaaaaN did replace the destroyed dock.
Yeah, but it's like he invested 600 wooden dock, and the other guy invested 300 wooden docks.
I guess it just begs the question: is what is Villese up to? If you're not going for the 3rd dock,
probably just a quicker castle age with like 6 idle villagers under the TC. Now goes for the deer. That's actually a pretty damn sexy mill with the deer close to the berries.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's gonna be quite nice. But here we have a big fight on the water unfolding. Looks like if the demo raft can get a huge hit off.
Wasn't the one we were hoping for.
It wasn't the one we were hoping for, but it wasn't a bad one either. A lot of these ships from Villese are very low HP, and it's still kind of a numbers problem in favor of our red player. Another demo ship coming in. That was, again, it was a good hit. Treebeard would say a fine hit. But it's not really enough to close this 5 or so military gap.
I'm a bit surprised Villese didn't add a single demo yet. It was like LaaaaaN is going for like 50-50, maybe 60-40 in favor for fire galleys. Oh, there's
Oh, that was really underwhelming. Oh man.
Oh, the dance around there. By the way, if you take a look at the minimap, left-hand side Villese, he is
That is a barracks. LaaaaaN is walling himself in, though.
Yeah, maybe he knows, okay. I'm playing 4 docks, -1, and you're only playing 2 docks, he might be up to something.
But what is he up to?
Building a barracks so far. And, right-hand side blue dot.
Ooh, it's the double barracks rush.
Okay. This double spearman rush while the water is continuing. And, well, some demo connections there. Underwhelming again. And suddenly it feels like 9 military to Villese and 6 to LaaaaaN. A shot for a comeback.
Yeah, certainly. Market is actually on the way here for Villese. I'm not really sure what he's going to use on. Maybe sell some stone to try to get a faster uptime or something? But his bank is definitely larger than LaaaAN's right now. Again, more scuffling on the water. Both players are doing a very nice job trying to repair those injured fire galleys, especially if they take splash damage from the demo ships.
Let's see. For example, Nikov is a guy who always had 1 demo just constantly being sent in there. And Villese, with how clumped up he is here, that would have been deadly against him.
Yeah, certainly. But again, the military numbers are pretty even. It's a blacksmith. Forward blacksmith! Told you, most OP thing ever.
Okay, so actually LaaaaaN could be out of the game already.
Oh.
He, by the way, went for the stable, and yeah. How many scouts? That's the question I always ask in those spots. How many scouts should he wait for?
I like saying 3. I think the 3 is the amount where you can take down stray spearmen, and you can pick off villagers, you know, much more easily, and especially if your opponent doesn't see it coming, which neither player does. It should be pretty good. There are 2 demo rafts now here, 4 of less. The first 2 he's made so far. That was a really bad first shot, and that was a somewhat underwhelming second shot.
Okay, now microing back. Maybe the demo can finish off the 2 fire galleys there. Yes, they can. Overall in the water, I can see 5 fire galleys against 2 fire galleys, meaning we have the 3 scouts out now, just ready to attack. He waits at least for a 4th one.
Yeah, and Villese is building the house over on the right-hand side, probably for the...
Good demo in the center.
There's too much happening. I see some dead fishing ships.
Yeah, they moved in there as well. That was a pretty sexy one. I just jumped on there a second earlier, and, well, it just feels like so low numbers on the water. Scouts now coming over, and you talked about picking off stray villagers.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I think Villese was trying to go for a bit of a wall-off himself, but much slower to do so than is LaaaaaN. The thing is, Villese is 27% of the way up to Castle Age, and has... Oh wait, his barracks is on the other side of the map. He doesn't even have any defensive spearmen available.
Yeah.
Then this woodline on the left of Villese's base is going to be under a lot of pressure very, very soon, and that is going to be at least 1 more dead villager very quickly with some downhill hits right there. Other quick walls are on point, though.
Ooh, how did you save that one? Especially like with the hills. I would have screwed them up so much. Oh no! But
the
no.
downhill hits again.
Oh, that's so brutal. And look at the right-hand side. The villager's getting hold. No, the same fight.
Oh, yeah.
Just look, the villager getting hit over palisade there, and now he needs to get out of there as well. Oh, that's so ugly for Villese.
Oh no, he had such a good start to this game, but these scouts have totally caught him off guard. It's going to be another dead villager, and Nili, this is looking to be a 10-villager discrepancy right now in favor of LaaaaaN.
But a full H discrepancy as well.
Is there a stable here finally? No, there's not. Wait,
more houses.
There's a stable at home, so you can make a camel or something, and that'll help out.
Yeah, he has enough resources, but look at that. 33 villagers, 11 of them idle at the moment. You don't have the water advantage anymore, and look at that gold. Villagers blocking each other. Oh god, Villese income at the moment is completely broken.
It is not great, to say the least. Scouts running around, I think it's actually a pretty smart thing to check near the docks, because you would think that your opponent has a villager repairing some fire ships.
Oh, overchop.
Is that an overchop?
No,
oh no! Nili, you're not allowed to let this happen in your tournaments.
Why?
Oh no.
And Villese, like, he should have seen there was a green box missing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Feels bad. And now a tower coming in as well on this wood line of his opponent. He knows LaaaaaN does that. He wrecked his opponent's other wood line, and this is like the main wood line that's left for Villese. And he doesn't see it, but he's sending a knight right there. So maybe he did. What? Oh, okay.
Okay. So maybe he did scout it in the end. That's a very important pickoff. Otherwise, he would have gone or needed to go to the other side again. And LaaaaaN, he had some good minutes rolling for him, 55% up now, and he continues to go back onto water. Maybe reclaiming that area could be really sexy for him.
Yeah, the thing is, Persian Tox have a ton of HP unless you delete them, so these 3 fire galleys are not going to be able to destroy the docks before Castle Age comes in, so you just garrison those ships, and I think LaaaaaN should be in a pretty good spot. These knights have to spend time at home. Okay, I wouldn't recommend taking uphill fights against a knight with a scout. That is not something in OrnLu's big book of AoE 2 strategies. Trademark.
Well, maybe that's why it didn't sell that well.
It sold a copy?
Did your mother buy one or what?
No.
Not even that.
No way.
This would be so bad.
Oh, it feels bad, man. But what also feels bad is this Magadel of Villese actually got a few villager kills on the woodline of LaaaaaN.
Oh, okay.
He's only 3 villagers ahead right now, but Castle Age is in for both players.
Defensive stable now for LaaaaaN, defensive siege workshop as well. I think something like, oh, dog, overchop. This is the game of overchops here. Oh god, and knights are in again.
No! There's just stuff happening everywhere on this map, this game. 41 villagers to 39, but now there is a defensive Camelot, +1 attack, no other upgrades, +1 defense, no other upgrades for these 2 players. But running into the TC, because we don't make galleys anymore, there aren't any fletching upgrades or anything, but still, this should be pretty good for LaaaN, I think. Well,
he's clearing those 2 knights up. He is 1 worker ahead, both players with 1 idol. I think this is actually a pretty even game, surprisingly enough.
fairly even. Look at this town center from Villese. That's in an interesting spot, like way over on the other side, like close to the forward of his opponent. But Mangonel still hasn't gotten in quite yet. There's now a monk here as well, but oh no! Knight and a scout! There's still an overchop!
Yeah, he opened it so that villagers can get in there, and oh god, that's so ugly to hold. And the spearman, I think he's just on stand ground. That's so good. They're blocking everything.
There's a traffic jam on aisle 7. Oh no.
Oh, that's so ugly. Like 4 or 5 villagers dying, so much idle time, and he has no wood income at the moment. Yeah, the TC at the top will finish, but okay, then you get on 4 villagers working again, and suddenly land something ahead. But look at this.
Oh, and then the other side, we have a monk here as well to convert any stray camels. There is 1 scout cavalry that has been produced. Is it going to go right for the monk snipe? That is quite a bold move, and running right through the knights.
Third hit not happening,
No,
and oh god, that Mangonel. He can get so much, and those villagers are low from the raid earlier.
Oh no, this game is a mess. It's 3 villagers ahead technically for LaaaN, but a knight found its way into the gold mine with the overmine. It's the overmine.
Oh.
Instead of undermining, you overmine.
Oh god, what an intense game here. Pop 45 against Pop 47 in the 28th minute of the game, and that's even with the water opening. LaaaN did even go for war galleys, did add a demo, not going for any fishing ships, using the water at the moment. Oh god, the intensity. I think this is still super open. Oh, ground attack there with the Mangonel.
Ooh, nice attempt, but not quite enough. And Villese is backing up. That kind of surprises me. You think he'd want to keep on...
I think he wants to repair his Mangonel.
I guess so. But he denied so many farms right here. I'm surprised he'd let LaaaN get back onto those without much of a fight. But it looks like LaaaN's own aggression is kind of petered out. Villese is also on the 2 town centers, and actually LaaaN is as well. He built a TC over here on the right-hand side. That's actually quite a nice TC. Lots of resources nearby. So yeah, I think you're right, Nili. This seems very even. The scores are certainly dead even.
Now going for some water here is Mr. LaaaN, but well, 1 fishing ship isn't really what's catapulting his economy far ahead. It's a bit the calm before the storm, trying to reset. Maybe that's a good point to see the POV, how they are looking and how intense it is. You see, Villese at the left-hand side still trying to microbit, trying to go for some conversion, some healing here. Tries to snag a villager, gets her, nice move. And taking a look at the right-hand side, Mr. LaaaN. He will try to defend as good as he can with his Mangonels.
Indeed, he will. I think that LaaaN should definitely go back onto the water, as well. He has more docks. He still has a fairly large navy. Villese only has 1 fire ship in that dock, and if he can defend at home and then still get a good fish boom behind us, that would definitely be something that he could use to stand out in this game and take a big lead.
Night raid at the other side again, at the woodline where we already saw some villagers dying. And, well, he will just snag another one there quite easily. And, well, what's the next steps?
Villese is on 3 TCs, though. He does have this TC to the south, and that's really going to help defend his economy, if nothing else. But another villager going down, LaaaN slightly ahead. Whoa, the camels and knights and monks actually looping around, threading between the 2 town centers of LaaaN.
There's another overchop here, a bit to the top of that, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Go in right here.
Yeah, 1 monk for the defense. Mangonel could go up to the top. We are seeing a lot of nice fishing ships added, though.
Yeah, 5 fishing ships now with 4 more queued up. LaaaN knows what's up. Fishing ships really helped him in game 2 on Cross, and might do the job here on Medi as well. But Villese, for his part, is very much stabilizing at home on these 3 town centers. So he's gonna still be fairly well off. But oh man, this fishing ship eco is exploding, man.
Yeah, would love to see a redock, but he doesn't really have the map control to send villagers around more the head of the shark to redock a bit.
You mean at the mallet end of the hammerhead shark? Yeah, no, like this is the area where you'd want to be building extra docks, because this is where all the deep fish are. But alas, no map control to do so. But yeah, this town center on a hill, helping to defend all these resources, is very nice. Monk trying to go for a conversion will actually be successful in doing so. fishing ships are actually all idle right now. They should probably get those back to work. No days off here. We've got a game to win.
It isn't Thursday yet.
Not Thursday yet.
Oh, so many idle villagers. Idle fishing ships, not really finding anything. Okay, now he's sending them back. Good job. And it's like both players with very small armies scattered around the map, trying to boom up a bit. This is a heavy game where it comes down to decision making now, because I wouldn't really know what to prioritize now. Do I go for some knights, some mangonels, some monks? Do I use the monks to pick up relics? Where do I want to go for? And we just saw Villese wants to go back on water apparently.
Well, he's getting the War Galley upgrade, got another conversion onto an enemy fire ship. And I guess that is going to be the game plan for him. Oh, I think all of his monks were sniped, though, all three of them over here by several scouts of land. So that's going to be a nice little pickup for our blue player. Villager count slightly in favor of land, but still pretty even. I mean, just the populations, like this game is just so back and forth.
Yeah, it's impossible to call. And it's so weird because we had, well, the super rough opening for land there. So him getting into a stable game there, really kudos to him. And, well, he has to be happy. Main gold spot still not taken by LaaaaaN. Maybe that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get back onto water that heavily, because if Villese has water, I think he's always controlling the main gold spot of Villese, of LaaaaaN.
Yeah, LaaaaaN is taking his other secondary gold right now, also taking some stones, so getting a castle up here on the shoreline would be incredible for him. But now we see Villese unleashing the fire ships, and he has way more than does LaaaaaN right now. Just actually has a massive military lead. That kind of came out of nowhere, but that is going to sink all of these fishing ships very quickly, and that might be an amazing play here for Villese.
Yeah, and those are 9 fishing ships for him. Now goes into some more fire ships, but honestly, he's so outnumbered. That's a horrible fight for him.
That is a horrible fight. I think you have to cut your losses at this point. Like, at least like try and garrison the fire ships maybe if you still want to go for the water play, but those fishing ships are all dead.
Look at that. The next cycle, instantly 4 new fishing ships on the side of Villese. So they're like, okay,
Yeah.
I want water, let's go for fishing ships. And they're so greedy, I love it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is game number 5 in the series that is so critical for them, because if, you know, whoever loses this game is next to effectively out of the tournament. So yeah, this is such an important game for both of these players. A couple more knights running in, but Villese giving himself an amazing position, killing all of those fishing ships. The ecos went from pretty much dead even to like almost 20 advantage for Villese.
Yeah, something like that. Now some demos on the water trying to connect. Bit connect. Not really going to happen, no.
That was pretty good.
That was okay.
That was fine. Now, LaaaaaN trying to strike back on the water, but the problem is he lost all of his fishing ships. So, oh, and now the demo raft's coming right from the docks.
Oh, good connection 1, good connection number 2, and suddenly, what is like, I just wanted to say, okay, LaaaaaN won the water, but no, Villese now won the water.
It's because these guys aren't going for any war galleys. They're just going right for all of the fire ships and demo ships, and those just, you know, literally blow up each other. And yeah, there isn't really a good way to snowball that advantage.
Yeah.
Ooh, another big raid coming in here by Villese at the back of LaaaAN's base. A few knights and a camel.
And University finished. That's why LaaaAN has the chance to click up. We'll scare those knights and camel away with the monks. We'll actually get a nice conversion there against the camel. And on the other side, Villese, with a solid amount of resources, can click up pretty soon as well.
Indeed. Let's check that. If I can click the... There we go. Yeah, just about to click up is our red player. Bless has the buildings, of course. So it's not going to be too much of a difference. My question is, what are these guys going to want to do with Imperial Age?
Well, the typical approach is halberdier push, maybe into some trash bows behind this. Cavaliers normally don't scale that well, especially if the opponent still has some knights left.
Yeah, but we do see 20 military to 6 in favor of Villese. He actually has a around a 1,000 score lead right now. Okay, demo ship hit right there. Maybe try and get onto fast fire ships, retake control of the water that way. But on the land, like, these guys don't really have any real armies, just the occasional cavalry unit and monk or whatever.
But like,
Ooh, there were some huge demo ship hits. Oh man, like look at all the fire ships of Villese and how they're not.
One fire ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, my question is, how important is water at this stage? Because economy isn't that important anymore. If you don't go for galleons, like your control over the land isn't that big. I think land is way more important than water now at this stage of the game.
I think that land is less, or land is less important comparatively for land because he needs this main gold. He needs to secure this main gold, and if he doesn't have water control, then that is always going to be in jeopardy. So I think that still has to be priority #1 for him. Villese, meanwhile, I think he's in the better spot. He has a bit more to work with, can even take this neutral gold on the far right-hand side quite comfortably. So that's going to be pretty good for him. Pikeman, though, I think from LAN as a land choice we got there in the end.
Yeah, I think both are going for Pikeman / Halberdier. By the way, rally count is still 0-0, and well, I think this is still far from over. It feels so mirror-like. Map control feels like both players are kind of reclaiming the area. Water absolutely undecided still.
Yep, there are fast fire ships here for LAN, but they're not really doing a whole lot. These are actually pretty low in HP. Halberdier on the way for Villese. So I guess the question becomes, no one has a castle yet, so you can't get trash bows, but no one has chemistry yet, so you can't go for hand cannoneers. So how are you going to go ahead and deal with the pikemen of your opponent?
Yeah, I think it will be trash bows. LAN is now building one castle at his very top. On the other side, Villese, he is sitting at 400 stone. Some villagers on stone and adding more archer rangers, so that's going to be his plan as well. He has a defensive castle as well.
Oh yes, here it is. The thing is, for Villese's castle, is his base is a lot more land area, I feel. So he kind of has more space to work with, but he also has more ground he has to cover in terms of defending. And you can see that the castle position of LAN is super good. It pretty much blocks off any sort of attack on the that side of his base, whereas, I mean, it's good positioning for Villese, but it's not going to stop a bunch of raids or whatever.
Yeah, agreed. Thing is also, like, yeah, you have to defend more, but it also means you have more wood to work with, which really comes important in long Mediterranean games.
Very, very much so. And we can see here LAN attempting to go for a pretty far away wall, even though his opponent still has villagers and buildings here on the other side, so that's kind of weird, but trash bows queued on up here for Villese, getting poked down by villagers.
Yeah, but they should still be fine here, doing the 7 damage, and, well, pikemen can't do much either. I think this will all be cleared up, and how do you gain the advantage now?
Well, I still like Villese's position more. He has more villagers, he still has a decent amount of map control. I like the fact that he still has villagers on the other side of his opponent's wall. This gold, though, will be in the control of LAN, but we already see that Villese's own neutral gold, that is even, I mean, I still favor Villese's position, but it's still anyone's game.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly think this game could easily go like 1 hour 15.
Oh yeah.
But like, there's no clear advantage, people aren't getting relics, equal gold as you said, equal wood control, both going for the same army composition, no water control. It is really, really tough to call.
Yeah, and the thing is, this, you know, generation of Mediterranean means that most of the players' important buildings and resources are pretty far away from the water. So Persians, especially since they lack Racer too, there's not going to be a ton of value in the water at this point. So it's really just like pushing down these two little corridors on each side.
Yeah, and when we speak of pushing, Villese is doing a small step in that direction. Squeezes through with his crossbows here. We'll find some villager kills quite easily. Traps are going forward as well. And, well, he's just happy with controlling as much of land on the sides as he can.
Well, I think that's definitely going to be the way you win this game in the long run. Even like these little wood lines that are on the sides of the map could be all of the difference. 2 trebuchets coming forward, a good amount of trash bows as well. I think LAN is trying to go for the same thing, but it's just slower than that of his opponent, and he is quite far behind in terms of military count, a good 20 military behind, although he is building a castle up here by the gold.
Yeah, and that means he can always retake water when he wants. By the way, rally count is 1-1, and LAN, I think he's doing all the right steps here, but surprisingly, well, 40 population behind, and I don't really know why.
I think it's just Villese's economy's been better. He's been a consistent, you know, 15 or so villagers ahead this entire time, and that's just translating to faster military unit production. And now it's going to be trebbing away at these military buildings. That monk is, he's not bound for success. I guess, how do you gain an edge here, though, if you're LaaaN? You're just going for the same exact comp as your opponent.
Maybe mixing in skirms. Persian war. Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, if you want to counter the army of your opponent, just go skirms.
Well, the trash bows are strange, right? Because they're just a better version of a skirmisher in every way, except against skirmishers where they're terrible.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But that seems to be the unit of the future here for Persians. Maybe mixing in some hussars could be options, but especially like look at those high villager counts, 146 and 134. I think hussars should be on the menu here.
I totally agree, especially I think that would be good for LaaaN because Vilese's base is very open and spread out, and hussars could really get a lot of value, I think. Whereas LaaaN's base is comparatively a bit more narrow and closed off, but right now all of the momentum is in favor of Villese, and he is just storming forward, just annihilating this army of LaaaN's. Why are they not moving?
Oh, I think the villager was blocking there a bit, and well, that wasn't pretty at all. KD now with a nice advantage there for release plus 20, and bombard cannon count looks solid as well there. 3 plus 2 traps. That's a scary push.
It's really scary. I mean, it's a 30 military advantage for Villese. Like, almost out of nowhere, he just got super far ahead. There is 2.5 stables here to the south. Villager was killed, so that can be some nice raiding in the future, but who cares about raiding if you're getting your entire base wiped out?
Well, we have LaaaN defending with bombard cannons now as well, and it sounds so weird, but a good defense against bombard cannon and crossbows is only bombard cannons.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the thing with Persians is they're not very good attacking. Like, their armies are good at like killing other armies, but aren't really that great at like blitzing through enemy bases. Yeah, the bombard cannons and the trebuchets are nice, and Villese has plenty of them for now, but there's still enough time being bought for LaaaN to at least not get it completely wiped. He is closing that military gap.
Yeah, he absolutely should. His eco is good enough, and as you said, the push isn't that super scary. If we had like rams, they could really roll over LaaaN, but 3 bombard cannons, traps in the back, it makes it a bit more tricky. Crossbowmen now diving in, that's surprisingly aggressive.
That is indeed surprisingly aggressive. Villager attempting to repair the bombard cannon, the trebuchet just wanted to be there to hang out. Bombard cannon's being brought forward, and now Villese is the one in the super awkward choke point.
Ooh, it's a big one! Hallelujah!
Oh, you look like a second ahead of me.
Yeah.
Oh man. But that is exactly what LaaaN needed. Everything has now been equalized as far as the military goes. Now, like I was saying, Vilese's base is way more open than that of his opponents, and Lycav coming in, and they're going to start to do some big raiding.
Oh man, and that's so beautiful. Somebody just at the front dying there from Mr. LaaaN, and yeah, that's so weird. Villese saw those villagers sneak through, and got bombard cannon micro. And he still, yeah, let those 2 stables go up, and now has to pay the price for it. Lots of villagers being raided at home.
Indeed, he still has 140 villagers. He's totally fine still, but it's one of those problems that you can't just leave and hope it solves itself.
Yeah.
Siedrem, though, is on the way here for our red player. Trebuchet is starting to work away at this castle.
Oh. That's kind of the only way this castle can ever die.
Why not bring some like fast fire ships over and start attacking the trebuchets?
Yeah, well, he is around the corner. It's not that easy to think about that. He has the bombard cannons, wants to take the engagement here at the top. Ooh, bombard cannon really exposed, even dies to the bombard cannons in the back. I like the push here of Villese a bit more.
I like it quite a bit more. You see also the Cavalier switch coming in here for our red player, so that is going to be quite nice for him. What are his resources looking like? A lot of wood, but just a little bit better across the board compared to that of his opponent. Oh, but not taking the greatest crossbow in trades by the looks of things. And oh no, this whole army might get cleaned up as just stalling the crossbow production while you get the Cavaliers up and running might have just been a little bit too awkward.
Yeah, and he needs to retreat with those bombard cannons. They're so costly, man. And yeah, Cavaliers, that doesn't really look like a surprise to me. Would have loved to see him wait for like 8 and then completely annihilate the full army. This is like now he's sending them in slowly, some camels for the defense. They won't finish the game.
No, and you know that your opponent has the pikeman infrastructure at the very least, so you can add something that'll be at least semi-decent, but some camels coming in, they'll be pretty good as well. How are the light cav doing? They've killed around almost 30 villagers so far.
Even more, because TCs were working behind this, so they were so efficient. Villese lost probably like 40 villagers within the last 2 minutes, and well, that's just really ugly for him.
But still, look at the overall populations. Villese is a good 25 or so ahead. LaaaAN's population has dropped off the face of the earth. He's just run out of cavalier counters.
Well, just look at the mini-map also, like where we see red dots and where we see blue dots. It feels like 75% of the land is controlled by Villese.
Well, that is not enough land for LaaaN.
Where's my... Oh, I wanted to do the... key, but overlay guy told me like, no, we are professional tournament. We don't do that here.
Feels bad, man. But yeah, you're totally right. And I think a big important distinction here is that Villese has been able to take, is like at least taking one of the neutral golds and has mined a good amount of it, and that has not at all been the case for LaaaN. And he's still quite far away from mining out his main gold as well. And this game actually is wrapping up.
Holy moly, what a great series. And well, LaaaN, he doesn't look too happy there. Villese, he is taking the W. What an intense series here to start off the day.
Yeah, that was. This is just the first series today, and
it's
already dark outside. Oh man, we might have a long day ahead of us, and I'm casting the next series as well. Oh boy, this was a lot of fun though. This is quite a close, well-fought game with a lot of different maps and like different ways the game is played out.
Oh yeah, and I just realized that you cast back-to-back series, so maybe I'll take the interview.
Yes, please.
Okay, well, I will look at the maps and we'll create something and we'll talk about something. Wow, that was a really good series, and yeah, there was so much on the line, so obvious that they fought to the teeth.
Indeed. So does that mean LaaaN is out?
We will do the math. Nili math, yeah. It's not looking good for him. He needs 2 wins, most likely. Mm-hmm. Because Villese, like, overtaking Villese, we will do the stats.
We'll figure that out later.
It's not looking pretty. Obviously, losing 2 games out of only 4 that he plays isn't easy if he wants to make it into the top 66%.
Overlay guys like, Nili, get out of here.
Okay,
just get out of here.
Just show me the maps again. So it was.
Oh yeah, I'll show the achievements.
Arabia, the pawns on cross. We have graveyards.
Oh,
that was
okay, so here we have the achievements, and Villese just kind of ahead across the board. Kill death ratio better.
Arena.
I think this should probably tell the story though. Just a little bit of extra resources where it mattered, and this game was just so close. Able to develop his tech a bit more. Like this, you could think of as like this is the switch into Cavaliers that eventually there just wasn't enough of an answer to for LaaaN, and like that was just such a close, intense game. Villese even picking up 3 relics at the end, getting a little bit of an edge there as well. But wow, that was quite a series. That was a good one, that's for sure. So Nili is just getting ready for the interview. We'll be interviewing Villese, of course. And yeah, that was crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed that series. That was a lot of fun. Hi chat. It is now just me for the next minute or so. Casting next series is me and Turk. You bet. Thank God I'm not doing the interview. Literally the world's worst interview. How to pronounce Villese? I have no idea. Oh, look at this high. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Only me. I have 1 minute for GeoGuessr. Oh, I don't think I'm allowed to play GeoGuessr. Anyway, are we ready for the interview? Overlay guy. There we go.
Villese, congratulations after your very tough win against Mr. LaaaN. How do you feel? Oh, God. Now he says go, go, go. He is screwing with me. This is like okay. Hello, Villese. Congratulations to your win against LaaaaaN. How do you feel?
Thanks, I feel good. Always tough opponents, it's good to win.
Yeah, as if we prepared the question before. Okay, so going into the series, both of you had a lot of pressure, already losing a series and having one bye. Were you scared at all? How big was the pressure for you?
Well, it's tough when you lose the first set and then you pretty much have to win this one. If you lose two, it's very tough to make it to the top 6.
Yeah, it's kind of what we feel as well. And so, going into Arabia, what were the civilizations again? We had Mayans against Chinese, and you walled yourself pretty small. Were you ever scared that his Mangonel push would it kill you at some point?
No, not really. I had a pretty solid defense there and I saw it in time. Had some good Mangonel shots in there. And I expanded to the other gold on the other side.
Yeah, you also did the very nice defensive castle, played it very calm there. Did you ever feel like you were not completely in control in this game?
No, not really. I controlled the
Yeah.
game from the start to finish.
Yeah, we felt the same. Moving on over to Cross, obviously a map with 4 pawns, and LaaaaaN went for 3. You went only for 1. That's like, was your game plan? Oh, just tell me, what was your game plan?
Well, I wanted to get a good mass of army, but couldn't really do damage with the men-at-arms. He didn't either, but I kind of wanted to do more there. And then he had way better eco later with the 3 pawns.
Like, was your wall set up? Like, you wanted to do more damage. Like, why did you not go for a castle age all in, for example, if you saw you only had 1 pawn and he potentially 3?
I don't know. I should have done that, to be honest.
Okay, that's maybe a mean question. And then we go into graveyards. How did you like your map?
I liked it a lot. I had all the goals in the back of my map. So that was a very good map.
And also an easy wall off, but also very little control over the relics. Were you scared at all about that?
Yeah, I was scared after he got most of them. I saw I only had 3, so it's like 11 relics or something in the map.
Yeah, exactly. He had 7 later on. He could have caught 8 relics. What do you think lost the game there?
I think I shouldn't have gone that aggressive in the castle age. I should have boomed more. I think he did that as well.
Potentially. How was your mindset there? You were 2-1 behind.
After that game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty confident in the last maps. Like, what was this 4th map again?
Arena, and you picked
Arena.
Britons.
Yeah, I think Britons are pretty solid against Malay in that one, so I expected him to pick Malay.
You expected him to pick Malay?
Yeah, most people do that.
Why is Britain so good against Malay?
They have the long range expos, and with Malay you can't really push them fast because of the warwolf border. So after you get the full pop and late game army, it's hard to fight with Malay.
Yeah, I think you played it pretty much picture perfect there. Warwolves, even longbows in the end. And then we went into game number 5, Mediterranean. That was a wild one.
Yeah, indeed. It became very messy after he added the scouts, and I had to push on the other side. But I feel pretty good in such messy games. I like them.
Like, what was your approach on water? Like, you played 2 dogs and then wanted to sneak with a villager at the side. Did you have any special plans with that one?
Yeah, I did. After I saw he had 3 dogs, I wanted to go for the faster castle age and put him there.
Yeah, and you indeed did and got so much rolling. Congratulations, Villese. What a strong series, and I'm happy to see more of you in the upcoming days. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And guys, NAC is also something... You're free. Thanks. I'm just doing the outro. And so NAC